Lovely Thursday afternoon. Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And it's finally here. It is game day, Canada, USA. This is probably the most anticipated game in North America in 15 years. You got to go back to the gold medal game of the Olympics. It was in Canada. There was some nervous energy, but you didn't have the outside noise that you have now. It has zero to do with the game, but it just makes the country versus country angle a little bit higher in temperature and intensity. I think it's going to be a great game. I think the atmosphere in Boston, for those who are going to be in that building, man, that's going to be great. Many of you, you know what, you'll be watching with family, you'll be watching with friends, maybe be going out to watch it. Bars are going to be busier than normal on a Thursday for this game tonight. It's going to be huge. It's a massive game. It's great. It's nice to have sporting events that get everybody engaged. Right now, it's different. Now, Oiler fans are listening. They're like, man, this probably reminds you a lot of how you felt before Game 7. Right now, remember, the Oilers had won 3 games in a row. You went into that one feeling pretty confident. Like, geez, now nervous, I'm sure. But you're like, hey, they bounced back. No one thought the Oilers were going to make it 7. But that was only Oiler fans who were that engaged. Now you have an entire country of hockey fans, whether you're Flames, Canucks, Senator, Jets, Oilers, Maple Leafs. Doesn't matter who your team is in the regular season. If you're a Canadian, you're cheering for the red and white tonight. No question about it. It's the easiest game that will bring people together. You have, because many of you have friends who cheer for other teams, and I'm sure you have like group chats and chirps and everything else, and it adds for a lot of fun, right? Makes a long season a little bit more bearable at times. But today is different. I'm sure your group chats are all about Canada and maybe loathing the USA, as it should be, and that doesn't happen very often. It's fun. That's what makes it great, to get everybody engaged and involved and looking forward to the game. So we'll talk a lot about the game because, hey, man, that is the big story in sports today. Yaremchuk's in Boston. We'll talk to him. We got Kevin Woodley. We'll talk goaltending. How can if you're Team Canada, you talk to Nathan McKinnon, how did the Colorado Avalanche obliterate them? Now, maybe it was the environment in front of them partially, but there had to be some things. So we'll talk to Woodley about that. We got Jeff Merrick joining us, Spec, Dennis Bernstein, getting us an American point of view on how they view this game. Obviously, it's a huge game for that nation that haven't beaten Canada in men's hockey in a meaningful game. Hey, winning the round robin's great, but if you don't win the final, right? Like hey, remember when we won the round robin game? No one talks about that. Did you win the World Cup? Did you win the Olympics? Did you win the 4 nations? That's what matters. And, it's a huge opportunity for them. The victory over Canada obviously has them fired up. But, hey, we all know it. It's difficult to beat them. Now, the Americans don't want the same outcome that would happen in 2010, where they beat Canada in the prelims and then they lost in the gold medal. And do I think history is going to repeat itself tonight? Yes, I do. I don't go into games worrying about the odd time that I cheer. I don't stress and worry about if they lose. I'll think about to me, that's just negative energy and it's wasted energy. And I've read so many books about don't worry about something and be like, oh, geez, what? Because if they lose, my life does not change. I'll be disappointed, sure. But, still get up. I still got to work, do everything else. Family's healthy. Everything's good. It's just a game. But if they win, it just adds, way more positive euphoria. You think about it. Everybody's excited. Everybody's going nuts. It's great. Probably honking in the neighborhood. Right? Maybe you're getting together with your neighbors. Makes it better. But to worry about them losing, I know there's a chance they can lose. I don't focus on it. I just don't. But that's how I approach life and everything. I don't go into sales meetings thinking I won't get the sale. If it happens, oh well. But I think about, hey, this could be a good client. Great. It's just how my mindset's always been. I'm more of a glass full half guy. And I enjoy it more. I don't worry about the what if negatives. It's more what about the what if positive? Right? Well, what if they lose? Yeah. What if they win? And Canada, they're pretty good. Hey, you got Cale Makar tonight. That's a big boost from Saturday. And there's no Charlie McAvoy, who had a really good game for the U.S. Now, what a moment for young Sanderson from the Ottawa Senators. Now, of course, his family from, Jeff Sanderson, of course, Sandersons are from around here from St. Albert. And, they obviously Jeff, son's American because that's where he was born and played a lot of his hockey there because he was playing in the U.S. at that time. But, he's got some family. I'm sure, I'm curious how the Sanderson family is. Like, they're all Canadians. We're like, God, like, can our nephew score a goal, but Canada wins? That's probably like the perfect scenario for them. So, but, that's great. It's a great experience for him. It's going to be tough, though. Make no mistake. Like, he's jumping in. Like, you think it's hard to cut. You think John Klingberg had it tough being out a few months. You come into this game and the intensity of this game and all the pressure. Like, man, it's like getting into Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. You haven't played, in the first 6 games of the series. It would not be easy. Now, he's going to be ramped right up, but so are the Canadians. Now, Seth Jarvis comes back in for Travis Konechny. I'm a little surprised, to be honest. I thought that Konechny Marchand Bennett line was great. So I'm a little surprised that the Jarvis is coming back in, but obviously John Cooper has his reasons. We'll see. Hey, maybe Seth Jarvis scores a big goal. Great. But that's the one change for Canada. They will stick with goaltending. Obviously, Bennington's the only goalie who's going to play every game in the tournament. And we'll see if it pans out. We'll talk to Woodley about that. You know what? He's had, I don't think he allowed a weak goal against Finland, but he obviously the Gensel goal and the goal against Sweden in the first game, like those are goals he'd like back. Now he responds well. That's great. It's a good sign. And they don't need Binnington. I don't think they're going to need Binnington to stand on his head. Like, I'd be surprised if the USA overwhelms Canada and controls the territorial advantage and has way more scoring chance and way more shots. It could happen. I don't expect it to. I think Canada, and here's the other thing. Like, Canada, of course, the U.S. is motivated, but Canada just lost. And that's a big motivator, right? It's the opportunity to win. And obviously for your country, for some of these guys, it'll be the first time, right? Because many of them have never played for their country at this level. At the NHL, some of them played World Juniors and stuff, and that's big, but it's not like this. So my question to all of you is, who's your game-winning goal coming from? 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our email inbox. Who do you have scoring the winning goal? Hey, we got some American listeners. We have an American. Great. Let's see who it is. Who do you think is going to score the game-winning goal tonight? Obviously, I know Sidney Crosby scored the big goal in overtime. Man, overtime would be electric, wouldn't it? I don't know why. I don't think we're going to have overtime tonight. I don't know. I just have a feel that it's not going to be an overtime game. So we shall see. Also, some unfortunate news if you are an NBA fan, as the young star from the black and San Antonio Spurs, the black and gray, Victor Wembanyama is out for the season. He has deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder. It's basically a blood clot. And, you can have some issues with that, especially when you get to flying. So they're sitting him down for the rest of the season. Like, this guy's had some monster statistics this year. Like, he is such a unique player who's big. He can shoot from distance if need be. He's obviously a great rebounder. He's great inside. I think he's got the second most buckets made from outside 28 feet in the NBA this year. Like, this guy is an all-world talent. And I really hope for the game of basketball and for him that this is just, they're being ultra cautious, which is great, which is smart. And this is not going to be a reoccurring thing for him. And he'll get back and he'll be able to play, no problem. But blood clots are no joke. They are no joke about it at all. So we'll see. Hey guys, I'm going long shot here. I'm currently in St. Albert. I'm going hometown. Colton Parayko from Trailer Park Ryan. Woo! Can you imagine? Like that. That'd be big for him. Hey boys, I have a U11 hockey practice tonight at 7 p.m. I know there's a few games for some of you in minor hockey. Hey, that's a tough one. Now, on Saturday, we had a game, but it ended right at 6:15. We had dinner plans, and I told the story how we changed them. But, I just hit record and then got out of the rink quick. No one told me the game had just started, thankfully, and went home and then just started it like it was live. And it was like it was live because I hadn't heard anything. It was great. We caught up by the midway through the, I think, second period, or maybe it was the second intermission. But, yeah, you got to practice at 7. Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm sure your kids are like, Coach, can we watch the game? Where's your practice at? Can you bring a TV out, connect it? Man. Because honestly, that's a moment your team, and heck, I can tell you all the parents, depending on where you're, like, if you practice at a rink that has one of those lounges upstairs, every parent is like, hey, you know what? I don't need to watch practice. And I could argue you don't have to watch most practices. You go watch that game. Because these games just don't come around very often. At all. Hey, Greg's, I'm almost as nervous tonight as I was for Game 7. It's different because I'm a lifelong Oiler fan, and they play a whole season. This is a different feeling. It just adds to it with the politicalness of what's going on right now. Go Canada. I got to go with McDavid from Doug. Yeah, McDavid's not a bad pick. He has scored the first goal of the game for the last 2 games for Canada. And I think 97 he's going to be engaged tonight. No question about it. Like, I'd be shocked if there's any player, but not every player is going to be able to stand out, right? You don't, and these are all really good players, but they can't all stand out. It's just impossible. You can't, the best players don't always stand out every game. But, McDavid, he seems to find a way more often than not to make an impact. And we'll see. We have a lot of people that are going for Braden Point tonight, which isn't a bad one. Braden Point, pretty good goal scorer. Obviously playing on line with Connor McDavid. I don't mind that pick at all. Hey, guys, what about Brad Marchand in his hometown? That'd be unreal from Brent. Well, yeah, imagine that. You're a Bruins fan, but you're an American, and then Brad Marchand scores the winning goal. That's a tough one, right? Like, the Oilers on their current roster don't have an American. Now, Derek Ryan's American, but he's not on the roster. And, it's Oiler fans don't have to worry about it, right? Obviously, Klefbom and Arvidsson are out of the tournament. So there's none of that. But if the game was being played in Edmonton and you had a really good, American player on the team, and then he scored a goal, yeah, that'd be a tough one. But I think for that time, you're like, no, I'm a Canadian fan first and foremost. So we will get into that. Cons, any fun on your prediction on who you think's scoring the game winner?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm kind of hoping it's either Brad Marchand or Sidney Crosby. I think Crosby would just be fitting to bounce back and have his best game against the States. The last time these two teams met, steps up when it matters, made the huge plays against the Finns with a hit and hitting the empty net. Great awareness on him. And then Brad Marchand at home. It'd be funny to see the Americans' reactions. I think a few Bruins fans might be like, okay, at least it was Marchand, but Sidney's a great pick, Point's a great pick, but I'll go with either Sid the Kid or Brad Marchand at his home rink.
Wow. Well, that would be huge. That would be huge. Braden Point is the guy I was thinking for Canada. But it's hard to have a wrong pick. Right? Now there's obviously some guys who would be more surprised. We have a few people texting in. How about Drew Doughty? That'd be a great story. Oh, sure. And you know what? Drew Doughty, he so badly wanted to play in this tournament. I think he's gotten better as the tournament's gone along. I thought Canada's best game was against the Finns, and I know that Finland's defense is a little bit ragged compared to the other teams, and that's valid. But, their forward group's pretty good. And I thought Canada just their precision, their passing, their timing looked better. And I would, now they're rested. They haven't played since Monday. Fatigue's not going to be a factor at all. So it'll be great. And then what's wild about it is, so you have all this pent-up energy and emotion, excitement for the game tonight. Tomorrow we'll probably talk about it. Well, not probably. We're going to talk about it. And then all of a sudden, though, you got to chime in. Now the Oilers are playing, right? So you're and all fans of every NHL team are the same way. And now there are 4 teams who don't play on Saturday, so I guess you get a little break if you're a Flames fan, or some of the other 3 other teams that aren't playing. But they'll play on Sunday, and then you're right back in it, and it's a sprint for the playoffs. And so it's great. It's been a nice break. Players for most NHL teams are rested, but you've got Canada, U.S. fans across North America amped up for tonight. And this is going to be great. Guys, I think it's going to be a career-defining game-winning goal for the man McDavid tonight. That comes from Shea in Hamilton. Hey guys, my son says 97 will score the winger. My pick is Braden Point from Delta Golf. Well, not bad either way. Now, did I say Klefbom? Obviously, I meant Ekholm, of course. Still, it'll happen once every 2 months. I call Ekholm Klefbom. It's very weird. Very weird. And you know what? Hey, right now, I would say the leader seems to be Braden Point. Hey, guys, it's got to be McDavid. with the OT winner, passing the torch. This propels him to taking the Oilers back to the Cup Finals from Justin. Oh, Oilers fans would get on board for that. Hey, guys, Mark Stone, he's due. Yeah. Well, he is due. Sure. Although it's only 3 games, right? It's crazy. Not every player is going to score, but there are some guys that would love to come up big tonight. You know, every one of those players, just you always think about making a big contribution in a key game. And that's what they're going to look for. They're not all going to score, right? Like, you know, if you look at the numbers, most people are thinking it's going to be a 3-2 game. I hope at least it's a 4-3 game or more goals than that. Now, if it's a 4-1 Canada win, trust me, no one's complaining. But I hope we see a few more goals than we saw on Saturday night. It adds, for me anyway, it adds the excitement, the energy, the nervousness. If it's back and forth with goals, it makes it a little bit bitter. Guys, what's more likely? A big game for Marner or a big game from Matthews from Montana to Rice? I wonder how Leaf fans, honestly, because neither one of those players has done much in this tournament at all. Like, they've done nothing to change the viewpoint that they don't elevate when it matters. Now, if they do tonight, it can change. And that's why I never get too caught up in one game as career defining. I don't really buy into that because, you know, it's one game. And, you know, you can have a big game. Hey, Mike Rupp's on our show all the time. Mike Rupp had an unreal game in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. 2 points for Mike freaking Rupp. How many 2-points game did he have in the rest of his career? But he had 2 in Game 7. Is that a career-defining game for him? It was great for him. Didn't really, like, suddenly catapult him into being a more productive player. And, you know, there'll be a few big guns tonight that come out of this game with no points on either side. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to have a big game in the playoffs for their team in the next 5 years, right? In a Game 7 or another big moment, or maybe the Olympics next year. Like, it's one game, and I've always tried to avoid that. Well, one game is a career-defining game. Me personally, I don't buy into that, but some people do, and that's okay. I'm not a big fan of it. Hey, guys, I got to go for McKinnon. Let's go on him. Yeah, why not? Hey, Big Nate. Him and McDavid, like last game when you had McDavid score and then McKinnon score, and, like, you know, 2 powerhouses for your team, and it just gets it going. Hey, guys, I have to admit, I'm a lifelong Canucks fan, but I cheer for Canada. And I have to admit, watching McDavid, I realized just how good he is. I don't hate him all of a sudden, and I almost appreciate him even more. Listening in Victoria. Came in on the email. Well, thanks for that, Stan. Hey, I can understand it. Right? I've seen online, okay, geez, McDavid doesn't get many calls, and Oilers fans are just sitting there, right? They're putting their feet back up on a table, having a cigarette. See, now you understand what they've been saying. So it's quite comedic. Let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll go to Boston for the Four Nations. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Hey, did you know you can get a free drink today?
Nice. I love free drinks.
Yeah, Booster Juice called your name today on the Booster Rewards app. So you get a free smoothie, booster mixer, or fresh juice.
Well then, why are we still sitting here just talking about it?
Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. 2 names every day, all February long. Must be a Booster Rewards app member. For complete details, visit boosterjuice.com.
Something strange comes to Rogers Place.
Family Fun Sunday, your Edmonton Oil Kings look to capture a win from Gavin McKenna and the Medicine Hat Tigers in the annual Ghostbusters game.
Who you gonna call?
Meet Ghostbusters characters on the concourse during the game as members of the Alberta Ghostbusters take over.
Plus, at every home game, score Camelot Kids food combos for $10 or less. Family fun that's second to none. The Oil Kings Ghostbusters game.
Special puck drop at 6 p.m. Sunday. Great family entertainment at Rogers Place starts at just $20 a seat. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Blue Jays fans, are you ready? Spring training is here. And every Sunday at 11 a.m., Sports 1440 carries Blue Jays baseball. Put yourself in Florida, in the heat, in the stands, having a cold one, listening to Sports 1440.
At Papa John's, we're not just in the business of making better pizza. We're in the business of making everything better. Ambitious? Perhaps. Delicious? You better believe it. Monday? Make it a pizza party. Sick of parenting? Get Papa John's on dinner duty. Date night? We've got the recipe for romance. With our never frozen dough and always fresh toppings, Papa John's is committed to making it all better. Get better today at papajohns.ca or visit any of our 50-plus locations across Alberta. Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
It's the season for love, and you're about to fall hard for the vehicle of your dreams. Presenting the outstanding 2025 XC90 from Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, you can lease your 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $4,600. Or finance a 2025 XC60 from 1.49% and save $1,500. All while being deeply infatuated by the newly upgraded, highly attractive body and wheel design. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. 1205 101 Street Southwest.
On your feet all day? Don't worry. Timberland Pro work boots have your back and your feet. With built-in anti-fatigue technology, they cushion every step and keep you energized from clock in to clock out. Find the largest selection of Timberland Pro at job site workwear. Proudly Edmonton owned and operated for 20 years.
Job site workwear, tough for tough jobs.
New Edge Construction wants you. We are hiring for several positions. Join a leading civil construction group in the Edmonton region. A strong team, competitive wages, retention bonuses, and current model equipment are what awaits you at New Edge. Go to newedgeconstruction.com. That's NUEDGE construction.com.
Join a leading civil construction group in the Edmonton region. Start your career now. Go to newedgeconstruction.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
Of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.223. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, Sports 1440. You know what? Getting a lot of, there's a lot of Braden points, but many of you are, I'm kind of surprised. There's a lot of Drew Doughty picks going for Drew Doughty. Gee, I'd have to crank the numbers up, but he might be third on the list right now. Points, obviously, first. McDavid is second right now, and then Drew Doughty so far. Many people going out of the box, too, which is nice. We even had one that Binnington's going to score because he actually is a pretty good shooter at the puck because Canada will have a big lead, he says, but then after the empty net goal, U.S. will score to make it tight. Could you imagine? Empty net goal from Binnington. Come on now. Now we're getting crazy. Let's get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. They are 13-time Excellence Award winner in sales and service, and right now you can get an unbelievable deal where you can get an XC90 2025 plug-in hybrid, 1.49% financing, and save $4,500 at Volvo Cars Edmonton. As we go to Boston, where Tyler Yaremchuk has been covering the Four Nations in Montreal. I had to drive through a snowstorm to get to Boston, and now the game is there tonight, Ty, and it's going to be one hell of an atmosphere, one heck of a game. And I guess what's your thoughts first off on Konechny coming out for Jarvis?
I like it. I haven't really been a big fan of Konechny's game in this tournament. I felt like, especially early on, that first game, he was kind of a step behind and made some pretty questionable decisions with the puck. I think Jarvis actually gives you a little bit more upside. So I have no problem with that lineup decision. And for Team Canada, it's great that, I mean, they don't have to make any health-based decisions in this hockey game. Like, obviously, the USA is going to be without Charlie McAvoy. And I know Kachuk and Matthews are going to play after being kind of questionable at different points over the last 48 hours. But like, I think it's fair to say those guys aren't at 100%. So the fact that Canada's forward group, as far as we know, is 100%, and the only decision they're making is between two healthy options, that is a good problem to have.
Yeah, I haven't loved Jarvis's game, and I actually really like Konechny, Bennett, and Marchand line. I really liked him in the Finland game, but either way, I'm assuming that's where Jarvis is going to play. Correct? They're not going to change up, or is he going back? And like Marner is going to play with the two Lightning guys, and you're going to have Jarvis play with Bennett and Marchand.
Yeah, everything we've kind of heard from, Canada head coach John Cooper is that he liked the look of that Marner, Hagel, and Cirelli line, the way they kind of stretch this Canadian top 12 or 12-man forward group a little bit. So I think that'll work really well. Mitch Marner's a guy who, I mean, he hasn't done it much in this tournament, but he can create offensive chances out of thin air, right? He can be in a spot where you're like, okay, what's going on? And then boom, he puts the puck to a player who's in a dangerous position, high danger look. And Canada's going to need a lot of those tonight if they're going to win. And I like that they're putting him with a guy like Brandon Hagel, who is just a grinder, nose to the net kind of player. I think Marner can maybe try to find him at some and create some good high danger chances. So I'm happy they're keeping Marner there. Jarvis in fourth line, kind of a bit more of that sort of traditional energy line, if you will. I'm also very fascinated to see what kind of reception Brad Marchand gets from the crowd at TD Garden. It was kind of a weird one for that Canada-Finland game because they were cheering for him and all of that. But tonight, playing against Team USA, they're not going to cheer for him. But like, how cool would it be if Brad Marchand scored a big goal and you have a weird kind of conflicted crowd that's probably going to be like 25-30% Canadian fans. You'd have the groan of all the American Boston Bruins fans in attendance being like, oh, did Marchand really just do that to us? So that is one scenario I'd love to see play out tonight.
McDavid has been very good, of course, scoring the first goal for Canada in the last two games, and he's gotten better. I love the Braden Point addition to his line. I think Mark Stone's probably maybe the closest forward in style to how Zach Hyman plays the game. So, that to me makes sense as well. Obviously just plays a different wing, but, and even like Reinhart had done nothing, granted, only 2 games, but him with Crosby and McKinnon, that trio worked out very well. And so Canada's top 2 lines tonight, they look a lot more polished coming into this game than they were when they came into the first meeting.
Yeah, 100%. And this is something that I think I must have been on with Low Tide on the Friday, previewing that game on Saturday between Canada and USA. And I said, one of the things I'm watching for is like, how long was John Cooper going to let the Marner and McDavid experiment go? And they ended up playing a decent amount early on in that game against USA before they started really jumbling things up. But now they have a guy who seems to be working really well next to Connor McDavid in Braden Point. And again, to win this game tonight, Canada is not winning it 2-1. I don't see a world where that happens or where they win it 1-0 or whatever. I think Canada needs to score 4 goals to win this hockey game. And I think the top 6 they have constructed for this game has a way better chance of popping 4 past Connor Halley than the one they did a week ago, where again, like the Marner and McDavid thing just didn't seem to work. And it was almost like you went into the game being like, it's not going to work for a period. And then we're changing it up on the fly. So the fact they have that sorted out, I think is huge.
Tyler Yaremchuk joins us. Any sense of how banged up the Americans truly are?
It's pretty tight-lipped, and I can understand that as well. I'm sure these guys, NHL teams, wouldn't like, things getting out about what they're potentially playing through. There might even be a little bit of an element of the players themselves maybe don't want it out there, what they're dealing with right now, because they don't want their NHL teams going, hold up, you're playing through what when we have a stretch drive coming up here? But again, Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, they are not going to be at 100% in this hockey game. And considering that they were such a source of not just offense, but such a source of energy for this Team USA group, like, if they're nicked up with something and they're a quarter of a step slower than they were in that first game, and maybe they're a little bit less willing to go and, lay a big hit, potentially even fight, like all of those things could be factors in this one. Like, again, they're in the lineup. That's good for Team USA. They're not 100%. That is good for Team Canada.
And what's crazy about this, Ty, is, you got all the hype, all the excitement. Everybody's fired up as they should be. It's been a great tournament. And then, boom, the NHL resumes on Saturday with 14 games. The orders, Connor McDavid will fly into to Philadelphia and join the team. And then they play, boom, 3 games in 4 days in Philly, Washington, and Tampa Bay. So quickly, I kind of want to pivot to the Oilers. And, they hadn't been playing great coming into the break. I think that the break came at a good time for them. Talking to all the players, like they just can't believe how much more refreshed they feel now coming out of this break. What's your expectations for the Oilers specifically as a group? And then we'll get to some individuals.
Yeah, I mean, really hoping that they can just kind of jump into the deep end here and we don't get like a 2-3 game period where they're sort of in this feeling out process. And I mean, hey, there was something going around the team before the Four Nations break. So I did think their play was starting to, not a sharp decline, but they were trending in a bad direction, I felt like. And the break, I think, can be really, really good for that. What did the break do maybe for Stuart Skinner as well? It's kind of, again, we've gotten so much hockey and so many good positive headlines the last few days with all the international stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, he got pulled the last game before the break. Like, there is some questions about the Oilers' crease. So hopefully the break was great for Stuart Skinner. I think that's probably going to be the number one guy I'm keeping an eye on. And let me float this to you, Greg. Like, Connor McDavid obviously didn't get a break. He's got the weird travel where he doesn't even get to go back home to Edmonton at all. He's got to go straight to Philly. If you're the Oilers, you have any interest in a little NBA style load management at some point here? Maybe you sit there and go, you know what, Connor, we don't need you against Philly. We think Leon, everyone else with the juice can carry us. If Leon needs to play a couple more minutes, we can do that. Just take it easy for a game here. Rest up.
Zero chance Connor McDavid agrees to that. Zero chance. See, he's the captain of their team. He played a game on Monday and he played a game on Thursday. Like, it's not like he's, that much more. Like, he'll play one more game than Ekholm and Clefbaum. Right? Sorry, Ekholm and Arvidsson. And so I don't think so. Now, will they maybe try to reduce his minutes in a few times? Like, I talked to Chris Knobloch even before the Four Nations about. I said, like, you know what? Now, with so many games down the stretch, they don't have a lot of practice time anyway, but, he would encourage McDavid, maybe you'll see him take a few more optionals or he'll get the odd practice off. I do think there'll be some games where you don't see him go 23, 24 minutes a night. Like, Edmonton, if you can get up in some games, that's where, hey, we can play him 17 minutes or 18 minutes a night. And I think that's kind of where you'll see it. Now, you get into April, Ty, and let's say the Oilers are in a good position. They play San Jose 3 times in April. Their last game, I'll be stunned, unless I guess first place is on the line. I'll be stunned if McDavid's making that trip out to San Jose, right? So that he'll play on the Tuesday or the Monday, I think, and then they have a game in San Jose on the Wednesday on the 16th. I could easily see him not even making the trip, and that's kind of where he gets his rest, and he'll be off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Playoff start Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. Like, if you sit down Connor McDavid and he says, I want to play, okay, you're not going to be like, no, Connor, you're sitting like, but maybe just tapering off his minutes is a decent idea. I guess the other thing too, that I'm excited to see now that I'm starting to dial my brain back into Oilers mode a little bit is how are they going to handle this Matt Savoy experiment? Are they going to put him next to Leon Draisaitl for a couple of games here? How serious are they about giving this some legitimate runway? Like, I can't wait to watch him, and it'd be great if he could come in and be an impactful piece for this team down the stretch. I don't know how confident I am in that. I obviously don't watch a ton of Bakersfield Condors hockey, but I read what smart people like Bruce Kurlock put on Oilers Nation. And it's like, okay, it feels like he's ready to take some amount of a leap here, but is Chris Knobloch going to trust him in a top 6 role? Is he going to get to play with skill? Fascinated to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, I look at Matt Savoy and he's practiced with Draisaitl. I don't know for sure if he'll play there. I do know I've been told 100% he's in their top 9. So he's either going to play with Draisaitl or I think he's on the third line with Nugent Hopkins. Now, if they start Nugent Hopkins with McDavid and Hyman, then I think he's going to play with Draisaitl. And that, that would make sense. It's, the thing is, if he plays with Draisaitl, then like, do they put Arvidsson down, right? That's, so there's other things. Or you could just put Nugent Hopkins as your third line center and Arvidsson stays. Because remember, Arvidsson did play with Hyman and McDavid going into the break. So they have some options. Practice did have Nugent Hopkins and Hyman together with Derek Ryan, who's obviously holding a spot for Connor McDavid. But I think Matt Savoy is going to get top 9 minutes. And I always caution people, Matt Savoy is a rookie. And I know I see a lot of people that, look what Dallas did with Stan Coven, right? I'm like, okay, right? Like he came in, he's a young guy, and that's great. But Stan Coven wasn't a difference maker for Dallas, right? Like it was a good addition, right? It was nice. What do you have? Because you look at this year, he's got 7 goals in 53 games, right? Like the NHL's hard. And so he came in, he was all guns a-blazing, and he had 8 points in the playoffs, which obviously isn't terrible by any stretch of the imagination. But I think people just have to have realistic expectations for Matt Savoy and say, hey, okay, if he comes in and plays well, how well can he play? And really, how well should you expect him to play? And that's what I always tell people. Don't have these unrealistic expectations and then be like, oh, geez, he's not playing very well. No, you put way too ridiculous of an expectation on him.
Yeah, I think that is totally fair. Anyone thinking he's going to come in here and instantly look like a 30-goal guy next to Leon Draisaitl, or he's going to be point per game in the Oilers' top 6, no, it's not going to be like that. Like I even saw there were people being like, oh man, look at how his numbers, and is he maybe like a Braden Point? And it's like, whoa, let's watch him play in an Oilers sweater for a few games here before we start thinking this guy can again be an 80, 90-point player in the next year or two. But I also do think the other side of it is like, I don't know if bringing him up here to play, in a bottom 6 role or whatever is a smart move for his development. And I do think they've handled things really, really well with him throughout the year. They've done a good job of keeping expectations down from the day they traded for him, right? It wasn't like they traded for him and were like, all right, he might be on the team, top 6. They said like, he's going to Bakersfield. We're developing him. So I've been a fan of how they've handled things, and I just hope they do this experiment here the right way and put him in a position to succeed. I don't want to see, 1 turnover and he's stapled to the bench for a period or whatever. Like if they're going to develop him, they got to let him grow a little bit.
What's your prediction tonight, Ty?
I predicted today a 4-2 Team Canada victory. I think Connor McDavid and Braden Point each get a goal. I do think USA scores first, though. I think that'll be the one kind of wrinkle we get. And I think the building is just going to be on fire. And then Canada will score 3 unanswered, go up 3-1. I'll say a Kachuk brother makes it 3-2. And then it's sealed up with a Sidney Crosby empty net goal.
Wow. Really put a lot of thought into it. I like it. So it's, the atmosphere is going to be fantastic. We had people talk about Charlie McAvoy because he's being let out of the hospital, that maybe he'll show up in Boston for the game tonight and go crazy in the crowd. So who knows what will happen? It should be it's going to be an electrifying atmosphere, man. And hockey fans, I don't know anybody who claims to be a hockey fan who could say that they're not interested in this game tonight. Now I know some because we had a lot of texts, man. My son has a game, my daughter has a game. They've got some practices, so they're not loving that part of it. So you know what? Maybe they'll be watching the game, streaming it on their phone, finding a way to do it. But I just can't see anybody who calls himself a hockey fan in North America who isn't interested in this game tonight.
I think, let's take it a step further. You're going to have a hard time finding a sports fan who isn't watching this thing. Like JJ Watt was tweeting about how he has buddies texting him being like, what are we eating tonight when we watch the game? What's our plan? All this stuff. Like this has taken on almost like, and maybe it's a good thing they had the 2 days off to really build up the hype, but it feels like this is almost taken on like a Super Bowl kind of vibe where like everyone is planning their nights, their days. In our Airbnb, we have Johnny Lazarus from Daily Faceoff staying with us. And he's just going to sit in the stands tonight with a couple of his buddies, and they were wearing their Team USA jerseys, playing Freebird while they had a beer. And I'm like, guys, it's 4:00. The game doesn't start for 4 more hours, but they're pregame and they're tailgating. Like the atmosphere is going to be electric. I cannot wait to be in that building.
Yeah, should be great. Will there be a Marner or Matthews sighting tonight?
I mean, Austin Matthews at least has hit a couple of goalposts, and it's like, he's getting close. He's getting some chances. So I think it's more likely we see a big Matthews moment versus a big Marner moment. I really haven't liked his game. Again, he is a very, very talented player, and he's the kind of guy where he can make a play happen, as I said earlier, seemingly out of nowhere. Canada's going to need something from their bottom 6. I'm just not confident it's going to come from Marner.
Ty, have a great day, my man.
Yeah,
Enjoy
thanks,
it.
Greg. See ya. Enjoy the game. Should be fun.
There you go. That's Tyler Remchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff, where he is in Boston for the big game tonight. And the texts keep flying in. We asked the question, very simple. Who do you think is going to score the game winner? Braden Point, by the votes, is slightly ahead. McDavid is catching up. No surprise in Edmonton. McCarr is now third, but Drew Doughty is still holding on to fourth place. Wow, Nathan McKinnon fifth right now in votes for the game winner. Should be a fun game. I can't wait. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll hear from the head coaches leading up to this game. We got TR Kevin Woodley coming up later on in a busy Thursday edition of the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit femalesuperleague.com.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
For the next hockey game, you can have your say with the Sports 1440 Coach Game Show. This is your host, Andrew Walker. Join us and give your takes on the game, good or bad. It's all brought to you by the Ridge Social Eatery in St. Albert. The Post Game Show on Sports 1440.
At Papa John's, we're not just in the business of making better pizza. We're in the business of making everything better. Ambitious? Perhaps. Delicious? You better believe it. Monday? Make it a pizza party. Sick of parenting? Get Papa John's on dinner duty. Date night? We've got the recipe for romance. With our never frozen dough and always fresh toppings, Papa John's is committed to making it all better. Get better today at papajohns.ca or visit any of our 50-plus locations across Alberta. Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready. I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom. I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
I couldn't love it. Amore. With no payments and no interest for 1 year.
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
It may sound cliche, but it's true. Building something new starts with a solid foundation. At GS Construction, we're growing Edmonton subdivisions with deep utility services and infrastructure that lasts. Every new project begins with skilled people like you, building communities from the ground up. GS Construction is hiring. So if you're a foreman or a pipe layer that's looking to put your skills to work for Edmonton and area in 2025, we'd love to hear from you. Visit gsconstruction.ca and join a team that digs deep and builds stronger.
I'm Rick Showers from Noble RV. And over the years, I've noticed something. New RV stores tend to treat the used RV customer as kind of a second-class citizen, not as important as the customer buying new. Heck, that even extends to the way they treat the used RV staff. And I ought to know.
You learn the business in the used department at a new RV store, right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. But I always loved used RVs. They're all one of a kind. I drove a used car as well. Used is always a better value than new. Come to think of it, I drive a used truck now.
Sounds like buying used means getting the most value for every dollar spent.
That's it exactly, Bob. A new RV is worth a lot less the second you roll it off the lot. Our customers benefit from that correction in value. which makes them smarter. So we treat you like a VIP because every customer and every staff member knows our used RVs are better than new.
And that's NobleRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Feeding a crowd, get the triple plate. 3 large specialty or 5 topping pizzas for only $54 when you use promo code 3play at papajohns.ca.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Another great Canadian artist, The Weeknd, just released an album here a few weeks ago. Nice. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X as we inch closer. Puck drop tonight will be around 6:20 Edmonton time. So 5:20 Pacific, 8:20 Eastern. For those of you who are listening and watching, planning, okay, what time do I got to be home at? Right? Some of you, I know, hey, Greg's, we have a 5:30 practice. Can I get home in time? Well, 5:30 to 6:30, your kid gets out quick. You could easily just, record the game. Don't keep your head in the sand for 20 minutes. It's not that hard. I did it on Saturday, honestly. And I came home, we watched the game, and it was like it was live. And then we caught up. It was fine. So that'd be my recommendation. I would say this. Hey, guys, we have a practice tonight. Some people are wondering, should we cancel it? Well, everybody's going to decide their own. I would say this. This is an opportunity for kids, especially, some younger kids, maybe not, they're going to watch it. But even then, I think this is an opportunity that doesn't come along very often. And you know what? You can get as much out of watching that game and then say, hey, let's talk about it afterwards, right? Like at your next practice beforehand. If I had a practice tonight, I would have a vote for kids and the parents and say, hey, who wants to practice and who wants to play? Let's just have a vote. I think I know what the answer would be, but that's how I would present it. So I know some have games though. So what are you going to do? Now, let's go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical, the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta. 4 divisions and projects and service and tag, as well as solar for both commercial and your residents. Contact them today, actionelectrical.net. And they, like everybody else, go Canada, go tonight. And John Cooper just talked. There is going to be one lineup change for Team Canada. Seth Jarvis is in. Travis Konechny is out. And Cooper talks about that decision. Does he sense any motivation to his team with the political backdrop that's going on right now? They can't hear anything. Okay, well, obviously the clip isn't working, so I'm not sure why. Cons, you got to get the figured out why they can't hear John Cooper, but I'm not sure because I can hear it, but we'll figure out the board and we'll get that playing. There's obviously somewhere it's muted, so it's not coming through. I could hear it in my headphones, but it's not going out on the radio. So we'll try to get that fixed. Sorry about that. Cooper was basically saying when it came to Jarvis, it came down to needs and wants and why they had switched it last game. And he didn't go into specifics, but he just said there's some needs and wants that he feels Jarvis presents that Konechny doesn't. And, he did mention it was asked about the political, said, I don't sense a big motivation. However, there has been talk about the 51st state. And then he made a joke about how, well, then if you had that, then you would never get a game like this. You also, like how many Americans would even be on the team? So Like it's just annoying. It's from the playbook of constant just make ridiculous claims and just to distract and try to divide, and that's constantly what the whole MO is. And then meanwhile, try to lower taxes for the uber rich and pay Musk's a ridiculous amount of money, and they cut. Although they, I even read the reports about that whole Doge thing, and they haven't even shown actual numbers of anything. So who knows? But it's just a lot of hot air, sadly. And once the puck's dropped, none of it will matter. It'll all be about the game, which is fantastic. Also, big changes really. If you look on the ice, Cale Makar in is a huge addition, and having no Charlie McAvoy for the States, it's a pretty big loss. Like, how many times as an Oiler fan have you seen somebody line up McDavid with a good, clean, hard check? Like in 10 years, and how many times? 2? 3? Maybe? I'm trying to think of one. Like that McAvoy hit might have been, the biggest collision. And McDavid wasn't hurt. So I'm not going to say it hurt him by any stretch of the imagination, but you don't see many guys get to time it. I've seen lots of guys take runs at him. And I've seen guys, make contact, but not like that. And so that'll be, I think that's a loss for the U.S. Sanderson comes in, and, this will be the biggest game of his life by a mile because he's never even played an NHL playoff game. So, great opportunity for him, right? He's got to be thrilled, but a huge opportunity for that. And you know what? There's the great part about this game is like now here we are, and we're 3.5 hours away from puck drop. Like they just want to get going now. Like now I'm sure the clock just ticks away a lot slower. Although the players get into the routine, they'll get to the rink, they start playing soccer and doing their stretchy and everything else like it would be a normal game. Because, when we spoke to Corey Perry yesterday, he talked about just the fact that, as hard as it is, and yes, you have heightened emotions, and, as you get closer to game time, it just, it's a bigger game. And the key is to try to, you can't lie to yourself and say it's just another game, but you try to approach it like it's just another game. And I think that's a very fair thing to say. Of course, it's not like another game. It's different, but you approach it the same way. If you have your routine, if whatever, an hour and a half before the game, you got to be doing your 10 toe touches. Well, then you do your 10 toe touches. And you know what? That's why players, some of them are creatures of habit, because that gets them it calms them. They feel like, okay, it's game day. Now, whether it's game 3 of the regular season, game 82, game 7 of a playoff, you try to go through the same routine. So you get muscle memory and everything else. So we'll see how it goes. But a few other text line in 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey guys, when the Oilers do come back, how's the salary cap work? Have they accrued enough cap space to make the deals that they want? Well, they've accrued enough. The big one will be, and they probably will, I think, get a better sense on, starting, next week on where is Evander Kane? Like, what are the chances he could, like, there? I say 0 chance he's back in March. So then you look to April. They have 16 days in April. If he's ready April 5th, does he come back? Well, it would make no sense, especially if you've made some acquisitions to use his money, and they wouldn't do it. I think the challenge is here that Kane's a wild card. He beats to his own drum. And what if he said, oh yeah, I won't be ready? Then would he go? Because Kane, remember when Chris Knobloch came out and didn't say that Kane was healthy scratched. He said he wasn't, to try to protect him and say, hey, you know what? Because he was a healthy scratch. And then what did Kane do? Kane came out, no, I was ready to play. He didn't see that the coach was trying to protect him. So I wonder how much of a concern. Maybe it's none. I don't know. But that's a unique element to this whole thing is, you know what? If it's April 10th and all of a sudden, you got 3 games, I can play. But here, and I've always said this, here's the one. So let's say he is ready on April 8th, if you're the Edmonton Oilers. Well, there is one very unique option that is legal and would benefit the player as well as benefiting the organization that they could do if they wanted is because he's been on LTIR long term. He could go down and play in 3 games on April 9th. And really, if they sent him down on April 10th, he could play on the 11th, the 12th, and the 16th. Get in 3 games. He wouldn't count against the cap. He'd be in a conditioning stint that has unique LTIR rules. Because usually when you go on a conditioning stint, you count on the NHL roster. But because he's coming off of LTIR and has been on LTIR for the whole season, he could go down on a conditioning stint where he doesn't count against the cap. So in theory, you could do that. And I would make a strong argument that Evander Kane really wanted to give himself the best opportunity to be ready for the playoffs, he would do such a thing. You go and get in a few games in the America. He hasn't played a hockey game since June. And my understanding is he just skated for the first time. And when I say skated, I'm not talking like getting out there in full gear and going hard. I'm talking getting out there in track pants and just going for a little Sunday stroll. And so if you read a story, Kane's skating in March 1st. Yeah, that doesn't mean he's remotely ready to play NHL hockey. He's just skating. What is he skating? 40%? 20%? And you got to skate. Kucherov skated for almost 2 months. But if you go back and you watch the videos, like the first few skates are twirls. Like I literally mean you're out for a public skate just to get back in the rhythm. And then it amps up and it amps up. And when you've been off that long, you can't just think you're going to skate for 3 weeks and everything's going to be great. It's not, I don't see it. Hey, Gregor, are you hearing that Kyle Connor is one of the scratches tonight for the U.S.? Have you heard that? I haven't seen that. Their coach came out and said that every player is available to play. I haven't seen anybody make a claim of which guy is out for the U.S. So now, I haven't been scrolling on Twitter during the show, so I see it momentarily, but I haven't seen it yet. So we'll see. I'll be curious. If it is, he hasn't done much. Like that'd be a pretty bold move, right? Like, because remember, who had the most points of any American player prior to the break? Kyle Connor. That would be a pretty big decision by Team USA if that's the guy you're going to pull out of the lineup. Oof. Like, I don't know, man. He's a pretty good goal scorer. And has been. Now, maybe he's banged up. Maybe he's sick. I don't know. But that would be that'd be huge if they actually did it. But I haven't seen that yet. So, no, I haven't seen it, but we can check into it. Let's take a break. We got TR coming up. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring HVAC installers and plumbers. Starting bonus to the right candidate. Also, strong benefits. RRSP matching. They even have tuition reimbursement. Apply today at legacyheating.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Final of the Four Nation Faceoff goes tonight from Boston. Puck drop around 6:20. Canada taking on the United States. From the NHL, Calgary Flames placing defenseman Tyson Barrie on waivers. If he clears, he'll be assigned to the AHL. Barrie had not practiced the Flames the past 2 days, with NHL teams returning to practice. In the AJ, got Whitecourt taking on Fort Mac, 7:30 puck drop. In the PWHL, Ottawa Charge hosting Boston. That'll start at 5. From the association, San Antonio star Victor Wembanyama's season is likely over after he was diagnosed with a blood clot in his right shoulder. Wembanyama is beginning treatment immediately, and the Spurs are expected that the 7'3" center from France will fully recover. On the court, you got the Grizz, Pacers, Sixers host the Celtics, Magic taking on the Hawks, Nets and Cavs, Bulls, Knicks, Bucks host the Clippers, Hornets in Denver, Spurs taking on the Suns, and the Lakers are in Portland. From Major League Baseball, Aaron Boone and the New York Yankees agreeing to a 2-year contract extension through the 2027 season. Boone is entering his 8th season as manager. The team had exercised the 2025 option in November. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Terry Ryan and Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
It's the season for love, and you're about to fall hard for the vehicle of your dreams. Presenting the outstanding 2025 XC90 from Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, you can lease your 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $4,600. Or finance a 2025 XC60 from 1.49% and save $1,500. All while being deeply infatuated by the newly upgraded, highly attractive body and wheel design. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Hey, it's Andrew Walker, host of the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show, which you can check out before all the games this season. A big thank you to Cross Mitsubishi for their support. We are Sports 1440, Edmonton sports leader.
At Papa John's, we're not just in the business of making better pizza. We're in the business of making everything better. Ambitious? Perhaps. Delicious? You better believe it. Monday? Make it a pizza party. Sick of parenting? Get Papa John's on dinner duty. Date night? We've got the recipe for romance. With our never frozen dough and always fresh toppings, Papa John's is committed to making it all better. Get better today at papajohns.ca or visit any of our 50-plus locations across Alberta. Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza.
Mr. Rooter travels the world.
Buongiorno, Italy. Nothing beats immersing oneself in another culture. Ooh, look at that. What an intricate design. Huh, wow. What a weird way to turn on the shower. OMG, a dedicated porcelain bidet. Do I try it? Well, when in Rome. Oh my, this beats that robot toilet in Japan.
All plumbing roads lead to Mr. Rooter.
Okay, how about you give us your star winger for a bag of pucks? What if I throw in some Will Hawk beef jerky?
Yourself a trade.
With Will Hawk beef jerky on their side, the Alberta teams definitely have an unfair advantage this trade deadline. Pick up some today and use it for trade leverage in your fantasy league.
No way, man. It's way too good.
Will Hawk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win trades with salad.
A few years ago, I was doing okay, but the rising cost of living has made my credit card bills go through the roof, and I don't know how to handle it anymore.
Times are tough. The cost of living is causing many to fall into debt through no fault of their own. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and stressed. There are options that can help you get back on your feet. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I can help you find a solution to become debt-free. Visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Ewell. Ewell.ca is your power play partner with a new website that puts the power in your hands with 24/7 ordering and shipping in Edmonton and across Alberta. Score an account today at ewell.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock, welcome back. Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having a lovely Thursday as the clock ticks down to Canada. U.S. tonight, puck drop around 6:20-ish, give or take. Of course, you got the two anthems. You got a lot of pomp and festivities and everything else before the game, and then they rock and roll for this, and then boom, we are back into the NHL season on Saturday with 14 games, including the Oilers in Philadelphia, taking on the Flyers. That game will be at 11:10 in the morning on Saturday. Heck, if Canada wins tonight, some of you will still just be, geez, need to recover. Why not? Should be a lot of fun. And the build up to this is massive and should be awesome. Can't wait. Can't wait for the game tonight. We got a lot of text flying in. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our well inbox. We got a lot of texts coming in. Hey guys, Brad Marchand scored the last winner. Did he not score in the final minute in 2016? Was it it might have been the final minute against Team Europe in that second game. Canada, of course, remember the final then was a best of 3, and Canada won 2 straight against Team Europe. I wonder if in the next. Now that one was also not done during the season, right? It was in the off season, and so I don't know if they would ever do a best of 3 during the season, just because it's it's more games in the middle of the year, it's more time, yada yada. But man, I love the finals when it's a best of 3. It just adds to it. Like imagine if they played tonight, they played Saturday and potentially Monday. Are you kidding me? That would be delicious. Let's get to our Thursday guest, Terry Ryan, of course, former NHLer, first-round draft pick, 2-time author, stars in Shoresy as Hitch. He's in his off-season training mode right now. TR, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Very excited, and a lot of anticipation all over the world, but especially in Canada and the United States right now. If you're a hockey fan, and my street, I live in a little tucked away street in the bottom of Mount Pearl, and flags are everywhere. People are really excited.
I noticed you got a Canada hoodie on.
Yeah.
I woke up today and was quite disappointed. I realized I forgot that I'd lost my Canada t-shirt, and I know exactly when I lost it too, and I just didn't replace it. And I kind of forgot about it. And then this morning when I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch a game tonight, put the jersey on with my son. No, well, it's not a jersey. It was just t-shirt. So now, and I see yours, and now I'm even more annoyed I don't have one. So I'm going to have to go get another one. But is that your ball hockey one or what?
Oh yeah, this is World Champs 2023. There you go. Wear it with pride.
I love it.
Well,
what is your expectation for tonight?
Ooh, I expect it to be very intense. I think a lot of people that don't watch a lot of hockey but are intrigued by it probably expect it to start the same. I think it'll be a little anticlimactic. I think you're going to see, I'm not saying you might not see a fight or hard hits. You're going to see definitely the hits, definitely the intensity. I don't think it'll start exactly the same, but I think it'll build. And, obviously I'm biased. It's tough not to be, man, and look at this objectively, but Canada have confident in our best players. I think we have the top 4, top 5 for sure. I think the U.S. are awesome. It's pretty even across the board, but look, our guys have done it. Bennington has won games, a big game in that building. Look at Crosby, McDavid, Makar, McKinnon. Let's just start there, which is the core of the team. The big guns. They've all really come through in big situations. And if people say McDavid, no, yeah, I say yes, man. He took him to game 7. He got back to 3 games down. He came. Not every single shining moment is going to end with a gold medal or a ring, but these guys know how to do it. Plus, you take the World Juniors and all that stuff. Like, our guys have stepped up and they've done it, and they can play under pressure. I don't think they're going to crack. I think they're going to step up. But the thing is, the States, same thing. Do you see Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, and company folding under pressure? No. So both teams know what's on the line. Both teams are like a dog with a bone, and you can cut the political or the underlying tension with a knife. It's palpable. So I just, not that matters. I just think it's going to add to the intensity in the building. And much like I don't think it has quite the same weight as 1972, but as 1972 unfolded, which is something every Canadian should know about, there were underlying things happening that made it more than just a hockey game. And depending on your viewpoint here, I see a little bit of that. I think this definitely means more than when we thought at the beginning. When we heard the Four Nations Cup, I don't know, a month ago, did we think we'd be here? I don't think so. We got exactly who we wanted in the final. And I think it's going to be just a great display of hockey, courage, intensity, finesse, and physicality.
Oh man, I can't wait for the game. I'm so excited. And there's so much, into this game, as a Canadian, you look forward to it. It's, hey, hockey's it's just being Canadian. Hey, I'll tell you, man, when the Canadian women were in the Olympic gold medal game, I was fired up for it. Yeah. Big game. Now this one's a little bit different because of all the white noise coming from the Orange Man. And, that's just, it's just disappointing, but whatever. That just adds to it. I think it fuels the excitement and the hype around the game. I spoke to Jeff Merrick earlier and he talked about how, if you look at it, Matthew Tkachuk and Matthew Tkachuk was a main reason the Battle of Alberta became exciting again, right? He annoyed Cassian. Now, Cassian still had to be the guy to react to it and snap and everything, and they fought, but that brought it back up, and that led, of course, to the Mike Smith fight, and Oilers fans love it, but it really re-injected some energy and excitement into a Battle of Alberta that had kind of been dormant for a while. And then, you look at, there he is going with Brennan Hagel off the draw, and then you have his brother going with Bennett, and then you got Miller going Parayko. And I'll say one thing about the Tkachuks, that they have a sense of the moment, and you know what, they're both skilled guys. Like Matthew Tkachuk's, and 80, but he had 100 points once, but he's a really skilled, he's a top line player, but he's a greasy top line player. And he kind of Corey Perry is a little bit similar to me. Neither one of them are fleet of foot. They're not the fastest guys around, but they know how to score. They know how to produce, and they have really good gamesmanship. And I'm curious, do you think, I don't need to fight tonight by any stretch of the imagination, but who do you think, TR, is the Canadian that really injects some gamesmanship into the game tonight?
Wow, that's a great question. And first of all, a lot of people who might be down on the Tkachuks, I get it because they're rivals and everything, but think about it. Our game, when I say our game, our Canadian game, okay? Yeah. And for a while, I don't want to say we felt a threat, but our culture of the game was kind of being threatened, with the advance of the European teams and how many players are playing. And, it's a big ice over there, and we like the small ice and we like the hits, and they have a different setup. And it's often been, you're a traditionalist, or do you want to go with the big ice and the skill? I say, why can't we have both? That is the NHL. But these guys came along and promoting our game. They're playing, US are playing a Canadian game, and you have to appreciate that. Right? It hasn't always been the case. That there's been times, but we're, 96 World Cup. But right now, all eyes are on the Four Nations Cup internationally, which hasn't happened for a while. And we're going by our rules, which allows this to really be a game that we want. I'm not saying that we're going to win it from that perspective. I'm just saying over the last few years, these guys have stirred the drink. They've pointed it in that direction. Alex Ovechkin came over. A lot of people, it was, at that time it was dangles and everything, and Alex finished every hit. Yeah, he scores a lot, but he really helped the Canadian game with being successful like that. And I think we should only be so lucky to have these kind of rivals. Now, who steps up? I don't see anybody on that team not being jacked. I really don't.
Yeah.
I think, you know what? I'm going to go way off the radar here. And the person you least expect the most is Mitch Marner. I don't expect him to be intense. I don't expect him to fight. All eyes are on him. Other than that first goal, 3 games, what are you kind of seeing? You're kind of seeing Mitch Marner in the playoffs. You're kind of seeing that. So I think for a guy like that, needs to step up. I really do. And I think for his Leafs Nation, for his own personal well-being, and as a Canadian hockey player, just show me some hits and intensity. Get out there. If a guy like that, if I'm Marner and I go out and I play out of my zone and I finish 4 or 5 hits in a row, to me, that's as big as 5 fights. It really is. Like, I'm on the bench going, wow, look at Mitch Marner. He's out there doing it. Then we all can do it. And, a guy like McDavid, come on, he's had all these, accolades, and most of the world puts him at number one. Well, there is a reason. And in every other sport, whoever is the number one player, you'll be looked at the exact same way. Even though Canada is absolutely stacked, so are the U.S., a guy like McDavid, these are the times they step up. Think of every great player that you know, right? Think of them all. Gretzky would score timely goals. Lemieux scored on his first shot ever and his last shot ever. That move, the play at the Olympics where he let it go through his legs. Bobby Orr scored the big goal. Even Michael Jordan, go to Tiger Woods. When they need a big shot, it happens. And he's the best player in the world. And he's been right there. But it hasn't really happened where, okay, you're our hero and we win, right? So I'm looking for something big out of him as well. I don't want to put too much pressure on the guy. The goal I saw him score with my own eyes was one of the best international goals I've ever seen. And he has stepped up, but something like that. Crosby scored in overtime in 2010. Who was it, Crosby? Why? Not like he went end to end, but they just find a way to do it at the right times. And I'm going with McDavid.
Well, you know what? We have a few people, and I'm not one, TR, that believes in like career defining games. I'm not sold that one game can define a career, right? It's like people talk about, well, the legacy of said player. Like if Canada doesn't win tonight, McDavid's legacy is tainted. And I'm kind of like, what? Like he's got another decade. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But that being said, obviously winning a game like this, right, after losing that game 7, like I just wonder, I know it's totally different. It's a different battle with your teammates and everything. Like this is 4 games. You just come together. It's not like you battle a whole year. And really in the case of the Oilers, it's multiple years with that core. But like, if you win tonight's game, do you think it somehow helps McDavid noticeably in the playoffs?
I can't see how it would hurt. So however much it would help, I guess that's to be determined. But yeah, it would have to help. And you know how much he wants it. It's one thing to win, but he wants it, man. He wants it. Go from his speech after the game in the game 7 there to his intensity on the ice, his comments over the years. What's unique to, what's consistent with Connor McDavid? He always gives credit to his teammates. And he wants to win. He would eat the boards to win. And he's almost done it numerous times. But, if they were to fall short here tonight, I don't think you can judge as someone this young. And I don't think it's a legacy game from that point of view, because there's going to be it is a legacy game, but it wouldn't be everything, because next year there's the Olympics and 2 years after that the next year is the World Cup. So he's going to have lots of chances, but if he does well, it will be a career-defining moment for sure. I really think so. I think up to now, if time were to stop now, if he had to retire, of course, this would be the game. But he's going to have all kinds of Stanley Cup chances, all kinds of Stanley Cup finals, the odds say, and all kinds of big games internationally. Because we haven't had this for so long, his growth is stunted as an international player. But, had it been going, he might have scored the winner in the Olympics 4 years ago. We don't know. This is one big chance, but it is one game, and we got to put things into perspective. It means a lot. It means a lot. But if we fall short, doesn't mean the end of Hockey Canada or Connor McDavid, right? No. But a lot of people speak like that. We got a lot of opportunities. But, like you said, Crosby, Mahomes, Brady, name me, LeBron James. I'm going through every sport. All these guys, you wouldn't judge them on just one game if it happens. But if you look back, a lot of big games, they were the ones that stepped up and took that shot and scored it.
Yeah, at times for sure. And you know what? Obviously, McDavid, there's so many stars on both teams. It's hard, right? Like that's the thing. So like, McDavid, McKinnon, go Braden Point, Sidney Crosby, obviously Cale Makar. And then the U.S. has a few pretty good players as well. So I'll ask you this one, TR. Who do you think has a bigger impact in tonight's game? Matthews or Marner?
Well, the game I saw against the U.S., like people were, I heard some comments. Oh, Matthews didn't do anything. I think Matthews, because I watched that game and he did do something. He was really good defensively, more so than I watch a lot of games, man. When you're seeing it live, it was different. I said, okay, this is an impact. This guy's in the right lanes. His stick was, and maybe he has more of an opportunity to do that. But I think it's easier for him to have an impact because he's a better player. He's Austin Matthews. He's supposed to be the best goal scorer in the world. He also is talked about in the Selke conversation. And listen, Marner, I think, is a great player. It's just Matthews plays center, first of all. And I just think he's like really powerful and effective defensively in a way that I just don't see Marner do. If Marner gets 3 goals or something, it's different. But Matthews is two-way. And like in this game, he's going to have to really concentrate on that second way. You know what I mean? Most times it's like, go score us a goal. Tonight it's like, okay, man, we need your defensive capabilities here because Canada are just going to keep coming. And I think Matthews has more inclined to play better defense.
TR, I want to get your thoughts on Matt Savoy for the Edmonton Oilers because he is he's being recalled. He's on the trip. He's going to Philadelphia. I think there's a good chance he'll play there. He's had a really good season in the American League. He just turned 21 last month. It's his first year pro hockey, and he's learned a lot. He's got boatloads of confidence. He's really excited about himself. What is the biggest challenge young players face when they come into the NHL?
Oh, yeah, man. How as a player, especially a highly touted player, momentum means everything. Confidence means a lot. Like you don't have any yet whatsoever. You have no momentum, and therefore you might have personal confidence, but you have really nothing to tie it to. So I find you either try too much or too little. You think too much. I'd be either thinking, okay, there's Ray Bourque. I got to dump it in. Or, you know what, maybe I should try to move. Well, really, I should have just been, just going like normal. Like, oh, yeah, it's Ray Bourque. He was in junior at 1.2, but so I think that can kind of play with your head because it's the NHL, but you got to keep reminding yourself, I'm in it. And I got picked higher than half of the players out here right now, more than that. So it's hard to kind of teach yourself that until you really get rolling. And the better leaders you have, the more that'll help out, the better you do out there. But to me, that would be it. And I think that's pretty consistent with a lot of young guys coming in. I remember talking to Brad Brown and Matt Higgins and like really having to talk ourselves down, like being either too jacked up or a little bit of self-doubt. And that's not normally there when you're in a groove in whatever league you're comfortable in.
Yeah, that makes sense. So there is the excitement level, right? Like you have the adrenaline gets to you for sure, and you're pumped right up. And now he has played one game for sure, but it's different. It was in Buffalo. It wasn't with his hometown team, and it's probably going to be playing with Leon Draisaitl maybe. So that's exciting, but also maybe a bit nerve wracking for sure. So it should be fun. When we come back, Kevin Woodley will join us, and we are talking goaltending, baby. How can Team Canada? What's the best way to attack Connor Halley? Can they take a page from the Colorado Avalanche? We'll find out next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase-style regular season gameplay and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2012 and 2017. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
90 days? You're telling me I can buy a 2024 or 2025 Buick or GMC from Wolf GMC Buick and make no payments for 90 days? Whoa. And you're telling me there's more? It's the final days of GMC's employee pricing on remaining 2024 Sierra HDs and Yukons? Clearly now is the time to buy a new vehicle. I'm heading to Wolf GMC Buick, corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road. It's mere seconds east of the Anthony Henday. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
You've probably heard the word rehab before, but when GS Construction talks about rehab, we mean bringing aging infrastructure back to life. Water and sewer systems that keep our communities flowing. GS Construction needs skilled pros who know how to get it done safely and efficiently, and that's why we're hiring. If you're a foreman or a pipe layer, apply to a company that's building for Edmonton and area for 2025. Join a team that's as solid as the infrastructure we restore. Visit gsconstruction.ca and join our crew today.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
Your courtside seat awaits on Sports 1440. I'm Paul Sir, and I host the basketball show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Don't miss it. I'll catch you this weekend.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
Yeah, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and new drinking water goods.
I'm going to have half my shit done by 9 o'clock.
Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe in the wisdom of Patch Adams. Treat a disease, you win, you lose. Treat a person, I guarantee you'll win no matter what the outcome. We don't treat conditions, we treat personalized treatment plans to compassionate, helping you achieve your goals. That's why hands-on techniques, unique technologies, and a commitment to hiring amazing people mixed with friendly, fun neighborhood environments. And ta-da! No, it's not magic. It's about being human. Sometimes being human hurts, but life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Are you afraid of losing your car or home due to debt? Don't let fear or shame hold you back from seeking help. Bankruptcy is not the only option. A consumer proposal can reduce your monthly payments, lower your overall debt, and allow you to keep your assets. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to help you tackle your debt. Take the first step towards regaining control of your finances. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
When was the last time your electricity and natural provider made you feel like this?
I'm sure he probably has questions and everything. I'm sure it's
Low
all good.
rates, no strings attached, year-round perks, and local energy experts who always have your back. With Encore by Epcor, find that carefree energy feeling at encore.epcor.com/carefree.
Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822 toll-free.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company. More than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
328, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Terry Ryan with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having a lovely day. Sports1440.ca, The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. You can get in the game tonight. It's a pick'em game at PlayAlberta.ca. Feeling like it's pretty close, Canada or the U.S. Also, it's the Daily Grand, where you can win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. As we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment. They're a big partner of the Blades of Steel, their 4th annual pond hockey tournament. It goes March 1st out at Cattail Crossing. It's fantastic. Teams register at $600 a team. And first prize is 2 Gs. You'll have a great time. They have a wonderful facility out at Cattail. So go register. Look up all the details at cattailcrossing.ca. As we welcome in from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com, Kevin Woodley joins us once again. Woodley, how you doing, my man?
Must be a special occasion if I'm on a Thursday instead of a Monday, but I love it, guys.
Yeah, well, hey, it was a holiday Monday, so there you go. Actually, no, it wasn't, but we switched it around a little bit, which was nice. I know it was a holiday Monday, it's family day, so it was great. Kev, you've been watching it close, so I want to break down because today, for Canada, everybody's rooting for Canada, and can Team Canada, if you break down the film of what Colorado did to Hellebuck and the Jets, can Canada emulate that tonight? What is the best way to beat Hellebuck?
Should they? Yes. Can they? I mean, they can. They certainly didn't in the first meeting. And when you look at the team construction, you wonder if it was built towards a priority for this. At the end of the day, Connor Halley reads and anticipates plays at a level we maybe haven't seen since Dominic Hasek. We always used to say that Dom had a brain like a computer and a body like a slinky. Well, Halley doesn't play goal like a slinky. He doesn't dive all over the place. Like, he's very structured, but he reads the game like he's got a brain like a computer. Like, it's unreal. And I've had the pleasure of sitting down and doing video with him for In Goal and our pro reads. I've talked to the Winnipeg Jets goalie coach and to Eric Comrie and other guys that have played with him about his ability to anticipate. Like, to give you a hint at it, like on a 2-on-1 as a play crosses the blue line, he'll not only tell you by the time it's at the top of the circle whether the guy's shooting or passing, but if he's shooting, he's telling you where, like just based on all the different clues. And so when a goalie anticipates and reads things as well as he does, what do you need to do, as cliched as it is? Take away his eyes. And tips and traffic, that's what Colorado did last year. The book on him up until last season was east-west plays across the middle of the ice. He might be the best goaltender in the world, arguably is like, I wouldn't even make an argument, in straight lines. But it used to be if you make him go east-west, the numbers drop towards league average. And for Hellebuck, anything at league average is what you should target. It's a relative weakness. They're actually better this season. Watch him tonight. He's playing way deeper. So he's shortened that path. He's giving himself more time to make those reads and shortening the distance he has to push. So that used to be the go-to. East-west, below the top of the circles, force him to go side to side. He's still really good on that and even better this year. So to me, it becomes back again to tips and traffic, layered screens. It can't be right in front of him. It's got to be a little bit off the net. Deflections, because he plays deep. He's not cutting off that angle from the tip as well as other goaltenders, so he's a little susceptible to that. His numbers are below water on that. That's what Colorado did. 24 goals in that 5-game series. 7 of them were a direct result of traffic. I think another 3 were tips off traffic. 8 so far off tips this season. Like, those are some of the things that you have to target on him. You cannot give him clean looks. And I'd point to the first goal that Canada scored against Finland, right? Like, great play by McDavid to circle and regroup and go post and in far side. But Kevin Lankinen makes that save 99 out of 100, if not for Braden Point establishing a screen and taking a defenseman with him and making it a layered screen and forcing Kevin Lankinen to look short side, which opens up the far side, right? So more of that. The Americans obviously don't make it easy with the defense crew they have, but way more of that than what we saw in game 1. And we've seen some talk about rebounds. He has spit out a fair amount statistically, but if you watch it so far, he keeps them in front of him and really in tight. And so on some of the public sites, it'll look like high danger chances. and all they're doing is basically banging their heads against the wall because the puck's 6 inches in front of his pads, and all they've got is to slam it back into his pads.
Yes.
So I take a play out of the Oilers book in that regard. How many times do we see Draisaitl always in the same spot down below the bottom of the circle, create chaos in front of the goaltender, create a rebound? And rather than pounding it back into that big frame and all the coverage that he builds, and he almost never opens holes with that coverage, slip it off to the side and see if you can get a guy from a sharp angle, to beat him before he can get across on some of those plays. Passes off rebounds are such a dangerous scoring play against anyone. And the way Hellebuyck plays in particular might be one of your only chances.
So now McDavid did score off the rush and obviously had a great goal. You can find different ways to beat guys.
Of course.
For odd man rushes for Canada, which they haven't created a lot, and the U.S. played very well in that game. And I agree with you. Canada, it's almost like they settled for the point shot, Kevin, but then they had no traffic in front, right? So it wasn't a great game plan. USA did a very good job of keeping the front of the net clear, and Canada just didn't have anybody there. But if you're Canada, what about on in-zone plays? Is there any area there, like goal line plays or anything, where Hellebuck's got a tendency to be a little bit weaker?
Honestly, he's really good in all of his posts. If you watch, if they get into dead angles down around the goal line where there's a shot threat, he doesn't prematurely commit to that RVH, that reverse VH, where you drop into the post with a short side pad and keep that inside leg, rooted in the ice, but the knee off the ice. He'll actually watch him. He'll actually sort of half drop, like almost like he's loading for it. So he'll sort of lower that knee, but not all the way to the ice. And so, maybe like if you want to get him second guessing that style and that patience he shows on edges, maybe take one off the goal line and waste it short side. See if you can get him thinking about going down early, and then maybe a pass off of that afterwards. He commits down expecting a shot, but you're moving it laterally, so he's a hair late going across. I mean, at the end of the day, I think in zone, as you talked about, the point shot, and this is where the difference Makar can make, right? Because obviously there was no Cale Makar in the first game. And we've talked a lot about how things like layered screens and traffic, if you're willing to go there and you've got guys that are willing to create that, if you can hit the top corners of the net in the last 2 years in the NHL with layered screens, it goes in 43% of the time. And as big and as good as Hellebuyck is, he's like any goalie. Take away his eyes, and a lot of times all he'll be able to do is sort of shift from side to side, and the hands tend to drop as you're moving into more of a blocking role, sort of pushing into those shots. And you've got a guy like Makar who can go bar down from it's like Quinn Hughes here in Vancouver, just able to sort of find the seams, get those shots off, and make sure they're in the top half of the net. I think that's something that was missing in that first meeting. But again, to your point, it's meaningless unless you've got at least some traffic in front of him.
Kevin, would you have started the same goalie all 4 games? Bennington is merely a conduit to my question. Whoever it might be, because I know physically, the games were pretty spaced out, but mentally playing for your country with a lot of pressure coming from one way or the other, maybe a guy would want to break. But the other argument would be, you ride somebody. So how do you think? How would you have approached it?
Well, I think it's interesting, right? Like, I think once you started Binnington in the second game, and even though he lost it, I don't think I don't blame him for it.
No.
I know a lot of people didn't love the 5-hole goal on Gensel. But we heard Cooper afterwards talk about, seeing Jake score that goal on a lot of guys, whether it's in practice or in the game since he's been in Tampa Bay. Like, I watched that play and I watched the way that came off Gensel's stick, and like sort of the heel leads the toe and the way the toe starts. I thought he was shooting as a goalie, and I don't read it at the NHL level, but I've asked a few guys, like, he showed short side high in my mind and then delivered it 5-hole on Binnington. And so that's just a great play. A great player making a great play in tight. And so I don't think there's any reason coming off that game where you're like, hey, like, he's not our guy. And because Finland was must win after that, I don't know that you wanted to experiment, right? Like, hey, we know Hill's a good goalie, but we haven't seen how he'll react in this moment to this pressure internationally on this stage. Do you take that chance? And so I don't have any problem with how they handled it. And yet the flip side, I think the fact that the Americans gave Connor Hellebuyck the night off probably speaks to your point, Terry, about, the potential benefit of rest and them seeing it as a real thing and giving him that game against Sweden off so that he could be focused for tonight and feeling that that's something that would help him. So I see it from both ends. I see how it could have been a benefit, absolutely. But I think once you go to Binnington in the second game, and how do you not if he's your starter against the Americans, and don't win it, the third game just means too much to be experimenting at that point.
These days, it seems to me, I have no analytics to go by, I have no data whatsoever, but it seems that goalie injuries are a little bit more frequent. And back in the day, of course, I think what would be now starter 50, 55 games would be a little more than that. The demand was more, but also people are training heavier. The game is a lot faster. What do you attribute that to? Is it training? Is it the game being faster? Or is it simply not load management, for lack of a better word, I suppose, but are people being more preventative? Is that why, we tend to see more goalies out for lengths of time?
Us goalies are just getting soft, Harry. That's all it is, right? No, as a guy who had 51 needs an hour just to get ready for a Monday night skate, the reality is the human body was not designed to butterfly, right? We've known that for a long time. And I think goalies have, for the most part, trained smartly. Not all the time. I mean, there are still, I think it's mostly gone. I mean, but I've heard stories in the last 5 years of NHL teams who ask prospects to be able to do certain things, physically in testing that, frankly, from a training perspective, they're not only totally unrelated to the position, but a lot of modern, goalie training coaches would tell you are not things you should be doing. So there might still be an element for some of not training the right way for a position that is completely unique within the sport, right? The way the goalie moves, the power he needs, the flexibility he needs is largely different than a skater. So why would you train the same? I think for the most part, though, this is just about how it might be a little bit training in terms of practice habits. I know a lot of goalie coaches around the league have talked about maybe, we talked about Hellebuck and that reverse VH technique and how much stress that puts on the body. A lot of goalie coaches are trying to work that out of their routines in practices. Hey, like once my guys got it down, and then goalies can tend to want to do those drills because a lot of those dead angle saves end up being easy saves. And so we maybe drift towards it. But the reality is once you've got the technique down, man, like ease up on how much you hammer it because it's not really friendly on the body. And then there are other teams like here in Vancouver where Thatcher Demko's crease movement patterns, the way he moves around a crease as soon as the puck goes behind the net, even on like a pass around from one side to the other, it's reverse on one side, across with both skates on the or both skates on the post, and into the reverse on the other side and up. And so that reverse VH for him isn't even, a something he drops into just when there's a shot threat from a dead angle. It's part of his crease movement patterns. And so every time a puck gets rimmed around, there was a period where he was going into it. So there's elements of all these things at play. To me, the increase is for the most part just how much east-west is in our game and how quickly it is, the pace of the attacks, the fact that teams aren't wasting easy shots anymore. There's so much dangerous movement, and goalies have to start and stop and explode in and out of butterflies. Even a T-push to a stop, when as fast as they move in a short period, that stopping motion out of a T-push, there's a study, I believe it was out of the University of Michigan, for all the focus we had on a butterfly drop, I believe being double your body weight, the equivalent of an Olympic clean and jerk in terms of the pressure it puts on the joints.
Yeah.
That stopping motion when you go through a T-push and kick the heel out to stop, that creates internal rotation in the hips. So everything is so fast. There's so much east-west built into a position that is already hard on the body. It's just all adding up. And the last one I'll add in there is some of these guys are wearing skates that are built, they're one piece, they're designed to have no lost energy transfer. What they feel on the blade is transferred into their foot.
Yeah.
Guys have migrated to years. No lost energy transfer means it's got to go somewhere, and I think it's going up the chain into the knees and the hips.
Kev, quickly, the season, of course, will kick up again on Saturday, and we've got some goalie injuries. I guess update us on the Demko situation. How concerned should Canuck fans be that he's not ready to go?
Well, I mean, they said it wasn't serious. It happened last game before the break. So I don't want to say alarming, but probably a little disconcerting for Canucks fans that he wasn't on the ice coming out, and he won't be on this 5-game road trip. And we were told he will be reevaluated at the end. So that's March 1st. That makes it 3 weeks. I believe you're still in the soft tissue range. Like, we're not talking 4 to 6, but it's not ideal, right? This is the 4th injury in a calendar year for Thatcher. I do think to a certain degree they're all related. You miss not only your entire summer of training because of the injury that kept him out of the playoffs. You don't get your August that you spend with your goalie coach normally. You don't get training camp. And then you hop in like second week of December, and it's like trying to catch a moving train. Right. And so even if you feel good physically, all those explosive movements I just talked about, like, they all feel real fast, even faster coming in halfway through a season. And so I don't know that he's going to get to reset physically, fully until he gets into the summer and into next season. It's a good thing they have Kevin Lankinen in the short term, but coming out of this break, they're back-to-back Saturday, Sunday, and then 2 days off and back-to-back again. So Artur Silovs, who had an 847 to start the season, came in as the number one with Demko injured and lost his job. They're going to see him twice here in the next week, and he could play a big role in terms of where they finish in this playoff race at the bottom of the Western Conference.
You think if Demko, they get bad news on him, do you think they'd look at it at getting another veteran guy?
They haven't yet. My understanding is they haven't taken that search, so that would lead you to believe, because if he's coming back around March 1st and the trade deadline's March 7th, you better know.
Yeah.
And so I haven't heard anything in terms of them actually looking. As a matter of fact, I heard they weren't. So that would lead me to believe that they don't expect this to be worse. I think the bigger question, Jason, is what they do after this year, right? He's got 1 year left on his contract, and then if he has, a season where he plays even 45 games, he's automatically a guy because of what his best looks like, who's in that 8.25 range. Like, he's in the Linus Ullmark, Jeremy Swayman, Jake Ottinger territory.
Yeah.
And
not
you
with
can say,
Term, man. Term would be just a disaster. It's too risky to do Term with him, isn't it?
Well, I mean, but take a look at, you could make that argument, but take a look at how many games Swayman had played. And injuries weren't a part of his history, but Linus Ullmark, how many games did he play? Like, both those guys were in a tandem when they had their most success, and they both got 8.25, right? So I'm not making the argument in one way or another. At the risk of having someone knock on the door and take away my goalie union card, I've always said that the one thing I would avoid if I could have as a GM with goalies is term. And it's not because of injuries, because the game changes, and one style that works 1 year might not work 3 years from now. But yeah, this is going to be a big decision. And at least in the short term, the indication is they're confident he'll be back down the stretch. And hey, listen, like, his last 5 games were sort of peak of powers Demko. He looked great. And if they get him back, at that form in the playoffs and rested, who knows how this plays out. But I think to get him fully reset and feeling good physically is going to be full summer training into next season. And then by then, you're already into the last year of a contract and a lot of questions.
Kev, man, as always, great stuff. Enjoy the game tonight. And, man, we'll have lots of hockey to talk about next week with so many games this weekend. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Everybody enjoy the one tonight, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Yeah, that's Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. Usually joins us Monday, but it was a holiday, and we had to get him in for the Four Nations, and I loved his breakdown on Hellebuck. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Lots more hockey talk in the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply. Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, and Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
Hey, it's Andrew Walker, host of the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show, which you can check out before all the games this season. A big thank you to Cross Mitsubishi for their support. We are Sports 1440, Edmonton sports leader.
Okay, how about you give us your star winger for a bag of pucks? What if I throw in some Will Hawk beef jerky?
Yourself a trade.
With Will Hawk Beef Jerky on their side, the Alberta teams definitely have an unfair advantage this trade deadline. Pick up some today and use it for trade leverage in your fantasy league.
No way, man. It's way too good.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win trades with salad.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
The Edmonton Firefighters Rooftop Campout for Muscular Dystrophy is starting February 24th. Edmonton firefighters are again braving the elements by camping on the roof of Fire Hall Number 2. But this year, they've decided to add a little twist and will be starting the rooftop campout with no camping equipment. The more money they raise for muscular dystrophy, the more equipment they'll get to survive an Edmonton winter, with the final goal of getting off the roof and helping this incredible cause. Donations can be made now at any Edmonton Fire Hall or online at edmontonrooftopcampout.ca.
At Schwab Buick GMC, our boss is serious about cutting prices on vehicles like Sierras and Silverados. When?
Right Schwabbing now! Right Schwabbing now!
So when he sees the MSRP, he says,
that's not Schwabbing good enough!
He's always looking for more.
Dig the Schwab in!
Save with 0% financing or lease rates as low as 1.9% on 2024 half-ton trucks.
Right now!
At Schwab Chevrolet Buick GMC in Leduc. Right Schwabbing now!
Hair Aware with Dr. Vance Elliott.
Hey, Doc, I really want my hair restoration to fly under the radar, but I recently read that men have to shave their heads and go full Lex Luthor before treatment.
The majority of my patients don't require head shaving because we can work around it. I can perform a no-shave FUE transplant or an FUT transplant if we determine that a transplant is necessary. Let's discuss your options.
Trust a world-renowned expert in hair restoration. Book an appointment at drvanceelliott.com today.
Monday warrior, mean.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Epcor. Stormwater ponds in Edmonton are designed to move water and runoff from streets and sidewalks, making them unsafe for your winter activities. Instead, head to a community league or city rink that's safe for you, your family, and friends. Think twice and stay off the ice. Learn more at epcor.com/winter safety.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley of Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Lovely Thursday. How great does it feel? Not only you got a big game tonight, but also, guess what? It's no longer freezing outside, so that's nice. It's perfect timing because, man, that was an extended cold snap. I don't mind the cold, everything, but jeez, it's like a month straight, just brutal. So You look at the weather, it's like, highs of +1 or 2, lows of -2 or 3 overnight. Perfect. Take that all day. Like it felt amazing, even though it wasn't there yet at noon because it's warming up during the day. But man, it felt so much better today. Like I could tell because the dog wasn't like the quickest in and out of the backyard. She's hanging out in the backyard now. It's like, oh, it's fresh air again. So it's awesome. I know most of you won't be outside tonight, though. You'll all be inside. Some of you, maybe the only outdoors you'll be is going from your vehicle to an arena. Or I know we've had some people texting in that they got kids in some sporting events tonight. That I get it. It's, you know what? Hey, they're going to want to play. But that's the wonders of technology. You can record it, or you can take your phone with you and you can watch the game while you're watching their practice or gymnastics. Man, we got a lot of texts on people because I'm asking, what's causing you to miss the game? Let's do that right now. What is causing you to miss tonight's game? I'm curious. 833-401-1440. I still remember back in 2006. Oh, one of my good buddies, Hutch, his daughter was in a dance recital. It was the Stanley Cup final. And you know how anybody who's been to a dance recital, right? So your child's in it. They might have 2 or 3 performances, but it's like a 3-hour performance. And your kid's on stage for 3 minutes, and then they're not on there for an hour, and then they're back on for 3 minutes. And it can be long, and it can be a lot of times like, oh my goodness. And I get like, not everyone wants to leave. I understand it. But he told his wife, goes, I'm watching our daughter, and then I'm going to leave. It was just like, I get it sometimes. You know what? Hey, is your kid really going to remember that many years later in their life? I don't know. They see one of the parents there, then it's all good. But, and maybe you flip a coin. Hey, what if your wife's like, why do you get to leave? I want to watch a playoff game too. Maybe you got to flip a coin. Winner gets to leave. That would be fair. Not at all. Sorry. Hey, guys, I'm missing it for work, sort of. But it'll be on the lounge at the dealership, Giant Mike. Well, if you're working in the car, I'm curious tonight. Now, I guess if you were looking for a car, now's the time to go because it's not going to be busy if you're not a hockey fan. You'd be like, oh, great. I can go do you can go shopping. You go to a lot of places tonight where it wouldn't be busy. But I don't think it's, hey, guys, high school open house. Oh, wow. Woo. Ooh, that's a tough one. Now, do you have it on in the cafeteria? What about the teacher's lounge? What about having it on in the game? Like, you come in there, it's parent-teacher interviews. Okay, yeah, you know what? Your child's doing good. Here's the 3 things. Why don't I just send you an email of the 3 things we should work on? We'll talk about it later. Oh, I'm kidding, of course. Your kid's pretty important. A few other texts coming in, 833-401-1440. We're still, we've had a lot of people wondering, we know who's out for Canada. We know who's out yet for the United States. I haven't seen an official announcement from anyone on who is going to be out. We do know, obviously, Charlie McAvoy is out on defense, but we don't know. At least I haven't seen it anywhere. Cons, I don't know if you've seen it, but I haven't seen anywhere saying who is going to be officially out of the game tonight. So offensively, anyway, for the United States. So we'll see.
Yeah, the reports are coming that Connor was one of the last guys off the ice today, and he had been skating in Kachuk's kind of tentative spot. So I think people are leaning that way, that it's going to be Chris Kreider instead of Kyle Connor.
I guess my guess would be like, how late was he on the ice?
Yeah, that's the question.
Was he like the last? Because there's practices where Connor McDavid's the last guy on the ice. He ain't sitting out.
Yeah.
Right. So is he the last guy by like 30 seconds? Right. Because now it's different in this tournament. Like when you don't play as an NHL player and you're one of the, the healthy scratches, you end up being out there for 15, 20, 25 minutes later sometimes. So I'd like to know the details on that. If it was, because hey, he could be some guys like to stay out late. Like Darnell Nurse rarely misses even an optional morning skate. He likes skating. Some guys do. Everybody's a little bit different. So we'll see. Hey, Gregs, what's your thoughts on Jarvis coming in for Connecting? In my opinion, Connecting's more physical, which was needed against the Americans. From Mike. Well, John Cooper was asked that. And he said it's about needs and wants for different games. That's why they put in Connect Me last game. He didn't want to go into more specific detail. I would agree with you that Connect Me is a little bit more physical. Jarvis is a little bit quicker. So, Jarvis, I guess maybe they can kill penalties from him. I don't know. So it also might be which lines he thinks they're going to match up against too. Because, I think Now, Konechny, will he come in? Will he play with Bennett and Marchand? Maybe. And maybe it just adds a little more speed to that line. Maybe that's what he's thinking. He says, hey, the U.S. is a little bit quicker in some of their bottom six lines, so we're going to want a little bit more speed. That's likely what he wanted. So there you have it. Quick break. We'll come back. We got Jeff Merrick coming up next hour. Spec, Dennis Bernstein from American side of thing. Of course, hey, this is obviously it's a big game for Canadians. Pretty big game for the Americans as well. And we'll touch on very briefly some of the other NHL news. Order fans are curious about what's happening with Matt Savoy. Well, I can tell you Matt Savoy is 100% going to be activated officially by the Edmonton Oilers because he was on the plane to Philadelphia. So he'll be officially activated. Remember, they had Noah Philp on the roster before the break, and then they sent him down, so they accrue a little bit of cap space at that time. Now they will activate. Now, I don't know what the rules are. Does Savoy officially have to be activated tomorrow? Can they wait till Saturday? It's just one extra day, but it would only be due to cap reasons. So I'm not sure how the Four Nation break worked. I know that you could add 2 extra guys for practice that didn't count on the cap, but does that extend till Friday? Or does it end today? I'll have to send a text and ask that question. Let's get to the comment. A Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Go to fountaintire.com because right now it is the midwinter tire clearance event. 20% off all in-stock tires, including the big brand names. You get great brands, great service, great savings. Fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's finally here. The Four Nation Face-Off final has Canada taken on the United States out in Boston. Puck drop set for just about a 6:20 in that one. The Calgary Flames will place defenseman Tyson Barrie on waivers. If he clears, can expect him to go to the AHL. In the AJHL, Whitecourt in action, taking on Fort Mac. Puck drop 7:30 in that one. In the PWHL, the Ottawa Charge hosting the Boston Fleet. That's starting at 5 o'clock. San Antonio Spurs star Victor Wembanyama's season is likely over after he was diagnosed with a blood clot in his right shoulder. Wembanyama is beginning treatment immediately, and the Spurs are working under the expectation that the 7'3" center from France will fully recover. On the court tonight, the Spurs taking on the Suns. You also have the Lakers and Blazers. Nuggets host the Hornets. Bucks up against the Clippers. Bulls head to New York, taking on the Knicks. Nets host the Cavaliers. Celtics in Philly. And the Pacers taking on the Grizzlies. From the majors, Aaron Boone and the New York Yankees agreeing to a 2-year contract extension through the 2027 season. Booze is entering his 8th season as manager. The team had exercised his 2025 option back in November. And 9-time Pro Bowl guard Zach Martin has informed the Dallas Cowboys that he plans to retire after 11 seasons. Martin was selected 16th overall back in 2014. He was also a 9-time All-Pro. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll get to another edition of 5 questions, and we'll be joined by Jeff Merrick from The Sheet. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Throw the load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit edmontonexpocenter.com today.
90 days? You're telling me I can buy a 2024 or 2025 Buick or GMC from Wolf GMC Buick and make no payments for 90 days? Whoa. And you're telling me there's more? It's the final days of GMC's employee pricing on remaining 2024 Sierra HDs and Yukons? Clearly now is the time to buy a new vehicle. I'm heading to Wolf GMC Buick, corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road. It's mere seconds east of the Anthony Henday.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
The 2025 Canadian Pride Curling Championships take place April 3rd to 6th at the Granite Curling Club. Interested in volunteering, donating, or sponsoring? Hurry up! Visit curlingwithpride.ca. Proudly presented by Sports 1440.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Attention drivers, it's the midwinter tire clearance sale at Fountain Tire. Right now, you can save up to 20% off all in-stock winter tires. That's right, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible savings. But don't wait, this sale ends March 8th. And once they're gone, they're gone. Contact your local Fountain Tire for complete details.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Don't settle for being on the rate of last resort if you don't have to be. Check your most recent electricity bill. If it says the words rate of last resort on it, then there are likely better options available for you. In fact, you could save hundreds of dollars per year by switching plans. Check your bill, then go to ucahelps.ca to explore your options. You will likely find a better rate and could have hundreds more in your pocket by the end of the year. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, you can play Oilers Score and Win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118th.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock. Seems like some of you are missing the game tonight for the Our Lady Peace concert. Now, if we look online, it says gets going a little bit. They might be on stage at 8:30, 8:45. Well, what if you just go downtown, watch the game right across the street, then just walk over around 8:45? Could do both. Imagine the mood you'd be in at the concert if you watched a win. Pretty good. Pretty good. Lots of text line in 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. The Oilers, we got a lot of text coming in on the Oilers. And hey, guys, I'm looking forward to the game, but I can't forget about the Edmonton Oilers. Should we be concerned about how they played going into the break? I think every team is going to have a little stretch of games where they're not playing their best. And the Oilers, they acknowledged it, right? They'd gotten a little sloppy, I felt, in their play. You know, I know they won those games in overtime in Chicago and St. Louis, and so that helped them. Like even though they're kind of playing poorly. You know, they weren't like drastically dying. They found ways to win. They're still 5-4-1 in their last 10. Right? And even that Colorado game where, you know what, hey, could Stuart Skinner have saved one? For sure. No question about it. They still had a chance in that game. So I wouldn't be overly concerned, but I will say this. This is not an easy 5-game road trip coming out of the break. You've got 4 playoff teams. You got Washington. You have Carolina. You have Tampa Bay and Florida. Right? Those are, the top 6 teams in the East? All of them? So that won't be easy. And Philadelphia, you know what? They're obviously the easy one, right? What are they? 14th, 15th in the Eastern Conference. There's never an easy game per se, but you know what I mean? Like they're an easier opponent. They're not as skilled top to bottom. So it's more like I look at Edmonton, and honestly, if they would go 2-2-1 on this road trip, I think that'd be decent. If they go 3-2, I think that'd be actually a really good road trip, considering the quality of opponents that they're playing 3-4. I really think they need to win the Philly one, right? If you win the Philly game, then you can. If you just go 2-2, you're pretty happy. So the Philly game is the first one. You know, on paper, in theory, it should be the easiest one. Doesn't mean it will be. Like, hey, the way Urson played for Sweden in that game, that might be a tough one. But Philly comes in, and they have been a bad power play team for a while, and their power play isn't great. Again, it's 15.8%. I think collectively over the last 3 seasons, I think they have the worst power play in the NHL. I have to double check it, but I'm pretty sure it was. Like they had the worst power play the last 2 seasons, and this year they're like 27. So I'm sure if I quickly did the math and look at it collectively over a 3-year span, yeah, they are. They're indeed the worst at 14%. So they're slightly better this year at 15, but not much. So, this is definitely not a team that you want to get beaten by their power play. So start there. You look at their goals against average. They're a team that, their goaltenders aren't great. They don't have great numbers. So you should be able to generate some chances if you're the Edmonton Oilers tonight. And then offensively, the Flyers, I think they might be 30th in the NHL. I got to double check that, but it's not. They're not great. They're 24th actually in offense, which obviously still isn't great. So I look at them, and when you're that bad offensively and you're 28th, 27th in goals against, this is a game you should win. If you're the Edmonton Oilers, to me, it's that simple. So that's the game. And if it starts off well, then the road trip, like just going 500 against Carolina, Florida, Washington, Tampa, I think you'd be pretty happy. You lose the Philly game, then it could be a real rough road trip. So I'm not so much concerned about their play. I think it's a little bit more who they're playing would be it. So it's a challenge. Washington has been great. Washington and the Sharks were the only 2 teams who didn't have any players at the tournament. And Washington's got the best record in the league. Now, some of their guys, obviously, playing for other countries, they would have been there, but they don't have any. They don't have any players who were. Now, some would argue that Tom Wilson could have been there for Canada. I know that a lot of people were calling for Tom Wilson to make that team, but he did not. So, hey boys, Canada needs to win tonight. One of my reps in Pittsburgh says, if we win, we become the 51st state. Yeah, well, thankfully that won't be the case. Being nasty, not the case at all. But I think there's some different Canadian pride on the line tonight. Just for that. Hey, guys, Logan Thompson could have been on the team as well. Well, here's the thing about Logan Thompson. And Kevin Woodley outlined this, and he studies goalies better than anyone. On December 4th, when they announced the team, Logan Thompson was having a good year. But he hadn't had a great track record up until that point. Right? Now, he did argue that could he have been the third guy? Sure. Now, if they would have been able to pick their goalies on February 1st and they didn't pick Thompson, then it would have been infinitely harder to defend. So timing of it, when you look, Thompson's had an unreal year for sure. He was having a good season at that time, but also hadn't played a ton, right? Like him and Charlie Lindgren. I'll go back and I'll try to find out exactly how many on December 4th, how many games had Thompson played, right? Because that is going to factor in, right? Like I don't think we can just ignore it and say, wow, geez, they should have picked this guy based on, how many starts would he have had at that point. He had 13. Now he had a 913 save percentage, 252 goals against. Good numbers for sure. But it was 13 starts for a guy who wasn't like last year. People weren't sitting there and saying, oh my goodness, Logan Thompson, this guy's a no-brainer. So I can kind of understand at the time of that one. Like to me, not having Hyman, I didn't understand it. I still understand it. Mark Scheifele. Maybe now, which makes like even if Canada wins tonight, and I think they're going to win, how many guys from this team tonight aren't going to be on the Olympic team? There's going to be at least 4 or 5, right? At least. Like I look at Thomas Harley and the way he played in his game. I think Thomas Harley is the guy who's going to get a lot of opportunity, and we'll get a long look in a year to be on that team, especially with Heiskanen out. I think Thomas Harley's going to play even more minutes in Dallas here down the stretch, and people are going to be like, this guy's even better than we thought. Good for him. Then there's Hyman, there's Wilson, there's Scheifele, there's obviously the goaltenders. Right? You look at Blackwood and you look at Thompson, and because Canada doesn't have a Hellebuck. I think Jordan Binnington is like, even if they win, I don't think Jordan Binnington's like, oh my God, it's a lock. This guy has to be your goaltender. Because he could win this tournament without ever needing to really be a major difference maker in a game. Now, we'll see how tonight's goes. Maybe he stands on his head and Canada, is getting outplayed and he plays great. I'm not sold that that's going to be the case. And it really hasn't been. Like, has Canada, had to rely on their goaltender yet? Even that game against the U.S., Canada didn't give up a ton. And the first goal is one. Now, Woodley outlined it. He didn't think it was a terrible goal. But he says, hey, I can get why you think maybe it should go in. Thought it was actually a pretty good shot. Okay. And that's why I'd like to defer to Kevin. And Kevin's not an apologist for goalies. I think anybody who's listened to him over the years on our show, I think they respect his opinion on it. And he broke down that goal pretty well. But I haven't seen Binnington. Like, he's made some key saves in overtime against Sweden. He made a few key stops, sure. But other than that, like against Finland, didn't have to do much in the first 50 minutes of that game, and then they scored 3 goals late. So I don't know if we can sit here and say that Binnington's been a difference maker by any stretch of the imagination. So I don't see how the goaltending position is remotely secure for the guys. Even Hill or Montembeault hasn't played. He's a young guy. Like, does Team Canada say, well, he came, so maybe. And don't do that. Just pick the best players. Don't give me, well, it's my GM here or there. Then if you want to discuss your player, then leave the room. I know they won't do it, but it's always been a little bit of an irk of mine. But historically, it's always been that way. You go from Slats when he picked a lot of Oilers to in 98 when they had Lindros as the captain and they had Messi on the team and yada, yada, yada. It's happened before, right? But Canada still managed to win the majority of these best on best tournaments. We can't forget that. If they win, you can question their decisions, but you can't really rip them because it worked and they won. And that's obviously all that matters. When we come back, Jeff Merrick will join us on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Premium live music and party venue is On the Rocks. Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Do it. Your vehicle is a big investment. Protect it at Hughes Car Wash. We use only clean, fresh water and the highest quality car wash soap. Hughes Car Wash, the car wash pros.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
It's getting free all season long. Can you believe it? Looking for an enjoyable and affordable family night out? The Spruce Grove Saints are excited to introduce their Kids Get In Free program. All kids 12 and under receive free admission for every Saints home game this season. Bring the entire family for action-packed junior hockey at a fraction of the cost. For more information, check out sgsaints.ca.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
Edmonton's go-to station for all things sports is Sports 1440.
From Low Tide to Kevin Carriott and Jason Gregor, we deliver the latest on your favorite teams.
Tune in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
To Sports 1440.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing. But it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes! FittedGolf.ca.
The 2025 Ram 1500 Motor Trends Truck of the Year in St. Albert Dodge is knocking 10% off the price. That's right, 10% off every single Ram 1500 they have in stock. And over 100 are available. These are the 2025's new interior and drivetrain options with increased horsepower and better fuel economy. Other dealers save their best deals for last year's model. At St. Albert Dodge, they're taking 10% off the newest, hottest truck on the lot. That's how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Hey, did you know you can get a free drink today?
Nice. I love free drinks.
Yeah, Booster Juice called your name today on the Booster Rewards app. So you get a free smoothie, booster mixer, or fresh juice.
Well then, why are we still sitting here just talking about it?
Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. 2 names every day, all February long. Must be a Booster Rewards app member. For complete details, visit boosterjuice.com.
New Edge Construction wants you. We are hiring for several positions. Join a leading civil construction group in the Edmonton region. A strong team, competitive wages, retention bonuses, and current model equipment are what awaits you at New Edge. Go to newedgeconstruction.com. That's NUEDGE construction.com.
Join a leading civil construction group in the Edmonton region. Start your career now. Go to newedgeconstruction.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.424, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50 and get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. As we go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And right now, the showdown continues and it reaches the peak of Four Nations tonight. Matthews versus McDavid, and the Big Mac David has been winning in Edmonton, very popular amongst you. So you can get that. Hey, you know what? You're like, what do I want to get for the game? Well, maybe go out and get the Big Mac, David, a double Big Mac. Ooh, super good. Try the triple cheeseburger. Get the quarter pounder as well for Austin Matthews. Maybe they even got a special Sunday, or the poutine fries. They're so good. Check it out at McDonald's. As we welcome to the show, of course, a host of The Sheet on Daily Faceoff, Jeff Merrick joins us once again. Jeffrey, good afternoon, my man. How you doing?
Jason, how you doing, pal? Getting excited? All set for tonight? How are the nerves? Do you have any pregame rituals for evenings like this, or have you seen so many of these that you are unfazed?
Well, I don't have any ritual because I don't really have any time. I get off air and then I just boot it home, and I'm like, I pull in. I told my wife and son, just make sure you record the game because I don't like to miss any of it. So if guys have to delay 2 minutes, we'll watch it together. Now we do have like my son's. He loves like Super Bowls, Grey Cups, playoff big games because of the food, and so we always kind of have different food and nachos, and so we have been making homemade French fries in the air fryer, which have been like potatoes. You cut them up, they're unreal. And so he loves bison burgers. So tonight it's bison burgers, fries with a veggie plate, and cucumbers, peppers, and then we did get some dessert because hey, if they win, you got to celebrate. So we got some special desserts as well. A very dense, awesome chocolate brownie. So that's kind of, it's more about the food than it is kind of any other ritual. Although my son, he's a big, like, he'll have his Canada. He has red and jerseys on, like doesn't have a jersey yet. He keeps asking for a jersey. I have to get him one, but does have a Canada shirt and stuff like that. So he gets into it. It's quite fun to see your child get that fired up for a game.
So I'm curious. Okay, so how old's your son? So I've got two boys. Two boys. How old's your son?
He just turned 11.
Okay, so I've got 13 and 15. So I'm curious, like, which hockey players on Team Canada resonate with an 11-year-old boy? Like, who is it? Is it the obvious McDavid, or is there like a hipster Braden Point in him? Like, where's your son at on individual players?
Well, he obviously is a McDavid fan. He's in Edmonton, but he likes McDavid's probably his biggest one. He likes Draisaitl. The other guy that he quite likes it is just kind of a random player, I guess. Like, he's a good player, but he's big on Braden Point, but I think that's because my nephew played with Point in Moose Jaw all those times, so he saw Point a little bit as a young kid, and he just remembers it. So, and obviously Braden Point won a lot early on, right, with Tampa Bay. So
one of the can I tell you a quick little anecdote about Braden Point? There's a team in the NHL who at Braden Point's draft passed on him, even though the Western Hockey League scout for this team. Hold on, Jason, you're gonna like cringe at this one. I think your listeners and viewers will as well. But there's a team that passed on Braden Point at the draft, even though the two Western League scouts who were at the table were like banging the table, right? Like, take your shoes off and pound for Braden Point. And the person at the table won the day, making the point that no one has ever had a good career in the NHL at that point who had a bad force plate result at the combine. And this team passed on Braden Point because he didn't have a good force plate result at the combine, Jason Gregor.
It's unbelievable, man. Like, I was watching. I spent a lot. There was a few years when I spent 3 or 4 years really following the draft very closely. And I was blown away, like in my nephew's draft year of 16 and Point's draft year and the one after. And I was watching guys get drafted. I'm like, why is this guy getting? There's 4 kids that are just purely better talented players. And yes, they're a little bit smaller. And I'm like, I get that size matters sometimes, but size doesn't matter when you're drafting a guy who's got 7 goals, for God's sakes. Like, it doesn't, it's still amazing to me, the mindset on some of the teams. And you can see it. Like, you can see teams that scout well and teams that don't. It's pretty obvious.
But the thing about, like, and I remember having a long conversation with, I know we're getting sidetracked here, a quick thing. Remember having a conversation with Matt Nickel, legendary strength and training coach, now with the Ottawa Senators. And I'm like, what do you, like, from a team point of view, what do you get from the combine? And he said, oh, it's some interesting information, but the main thing that as a trainer I'm interested in is one thing. And I'm like, what's that? He said, where players are sort of like predestined to have an injury. That's what I take out of the combine. That's about it. The thing about the combine that kills me is, well, they do it at the Key Bank. I know it's a CBA issue, but there's a rink right there. Like they never do anything on the ice. There's an arena right there beside like the treadmills and bikes and all of it. Like there's an arena right there. I want to find out how good a kid is against his peers. There's a rink right there. I don't need to do a million chinnies to figure out who's good here.
Yeah, no, it's true. A lot of these guys are good on the ice tonight. Canada, USA, Jeff, and it's it's been a hyped up tournament. It's been fantastic. I think it's exceeded a lot of people's expectations. The Canada US game, took it to a new level, which is fantastic. It's gotten more play in the US than any hockey game I can ever think of, which is great. It's built up. That's what the sport needs, especially in the United States. Canada's always been very pro hockey, which is great. But you look at it tonight, and the way Canada played that game, like the U.S. played a good game. I don't think they played they didn't generate a ton in that game.
Nope.
And I look at it, and I don't know if they're going to try to play the same way. I don't know if you can repeat that type of game against Canada.
Whether it's Canada or the United States, it's really hard to beat a team twice. Like, that's what I keep coming back to. I love Point playing with Connor McDavid.
Yes.
That clicked right away. It's interesting coming away from the first couple of games for Canada. One of my main takeaways was, man, Leon Draisaitl and Zach Hyman are great hockey players, because trying to get inside the brain of Connor McDavid and figuring out how to play with Connor McDavid, who plays at a pace that's faster than anybody in the NHL, and being able to be prepared for the puck at a number of different times in the offensive zone, which you could see that some Canadian forwards were struggling with. Like, geez, how do I play with this guy? I know it's a short amount of time, but how do I figure this guy out? I came away from the first few games, I'll be honest with you, like thinking like, I thought that, Draisaitl was great. Thought that, Zach Hyman is a really good hockey player. I get even more respect for them now, specifically Draisaitl, to play at that elite level with someone like Connor McDavid. But right away, like the one combo that works, and as you know, in hockey now, we focus more on pairs up front than we do three players.
Yeah.
Man, Point and McDavid together look real special here.
Yes.
To your point about playing the same way. The way that I kind of looked at that game was, it started off like Hagler and Hearns, that 3 rounds of glory, the best 3 rounds in the history of boxing.
Yeah.
And it finished up like Mayweather and Pacquiao.
Yes.
Like it was like, okay, just like defensive, jab, move your feet, jab, move your feet. It just became like the story became, United States snuffing out the neutral zone for Team Canada, not letting McKinnon gallop, not giving McDavid any options. Like, how many times, I mean, you watch all these games, you're right there. How many times have you seen Connor McDavid take so many strides before an option appeared? Like, it was hilarious. Like, you count the strides, he's skating, he's scanning, and nothing is appearing. USA did a great job taking every option away from Connor McDavid and essentially forced him to try to force something that wasn't there. That was the story of the United States. It was a defensive gem they turned in. Canada's made the adjustments. We'll see if USA can still play that same style of hockey. And let's not forget, too, this is going to be a slightly ticked off, heavily motivated Team Canada going in to TD Garden, who are probably going to, react not exactly the same way that USA did after they heard the boos for their anthems, because that just made them fight. I think that hearing the boos is going to do something for Canada tonight, in your McKinnons, in your McDavids, in your Crosbys, etc.
Jeff Merrick joins us from the sheet and dailyfaceoff.com. Jeff, are you a big proponent of career defining moments? I'm not one. Do you like if McDavid? Some people, he's got to win this game, or I'm not sure I come out on that. Where do you come out?
No, I don't think that you can sort of plan them going in. Like, I think that the best career defining moment to sort of happen spontaneously, right? Like, it's like, oh wow, like, listen, when I say the name Bob Nystrom, we're all going to think of that one goal against Philadelphia.
Right.
That gave the Islanders their first Stanley Cup. But I don't think anyone went into that game saying, man, if Nystrom's going to make a name for himself, he's got to score the game-winning goal here to give the Islanders their first cup. Like, the best ones just happen organically and naturally. I don't think this will be a career-defining moment for Austin Matthews or for Connor McDavid or for Nathan McKinnon or anyone like that. First of all, this has been a great tournament. This has been a lot of fun. This has been gangbusters for the NHL and for Capital H hockey. But I don't know that we'll look at this tournament the same way we'll look at Canada Cup 87, or we'll look at World Cup 96, or Canada Cup 76, or Summit Series 72. This is a very short, quick sprint replacement for the All-Star game. Let's not lose sight of this. This is a one and done. Like, that trophy, when it's done, is going to the Hockey Hall of Fame Resource Center, unless Donald Trump gets hold of it, and then it's probably going to the Kremlin. There's your political joke. So let's not have any sort of false pretenses about what this thing is. Now, having said that, I'm being long-winded here on you, Jason. I do think this has been a bonanza for hockey in the United States, as you just mentioned. I don't think this tournament has made one more fan in Canada, but I do think it's made a lot more fans in the United States. And if that was the job of this tournament, regardless of what happened tonight, mission accomplished.
Yeah, and honestly, they need more fans in the United States, right? Like,
yes,
you can always grow the game in Canada more. Don't get me wrong, but definitely there's much more room for growth in the U.S. It's interesting, people. We remember this tournament. I think people, when they see the Olympics next year and how the game is called and officiated, they're going to be you know what?
Oh, yeah.
Because some people say, the Olympics are better. And I'm like, guys, if we go game by game, the Olympics aren't better. It's a bigger stage. It's the world's there, and there's that. But there's 12 teams, lots of teams that aren't overly competitive, right? The preliminary rounds are kind of ho-hum, like, oh, okay, look, Slovenia lost 4-1, yippee, right? And then when you get to the semifinals, okay, it's good. But these games, the preliminary in this tournament mattered, and depending on the format of the World Cup in 2028, I wonder if some people are like, you know what? I'd rather have the World Cup in 4 nations because it's NHL rules with NHL contact, and I like it better, and it's better teams. Yeah.
So I'm bobbleheading all of that. Like I'm like, I know where Gregor's going on this one, and I agree 100%. And I'm glad you got us to this part of the conversation. This is why, as far as the international calendar goes, the World Cup is so important for the NHL. One, the quality of play that we're used to and enjoy more so than the wide open, bigger ice surface, called very tightly style of play that you'll see at the Olympics. The NHL style is much more favorable and appealing, certainly to North American eyes.
Yes.
Like the fact, there's no competing with the Olympics. Like, that is the ultimate sports stage. So the Olympics is all about the prestige of that medal. But if you're interested in quality of play, like if you're interested in producing great, emotionally charged, dynamic games, I'll take the ones over here. I'll take the ones that the World Cup is going to produce. Now, it's not always going to be a hit. I mean, the last time we saw the World Cup, the team that we all talked about didn't do anything. And that was Team North America, right? Like, the most important, vibrant team coming out of that tournament wasn't Canada, who won the whole thing. I don't know how many people were jazzed about Canada playing Team Europe in the final, but everybody wanted to watch Team North America. And I've been talking to John Cooper about this. He's like, it's the best team I ever coached, and we didn't do anything.
No.
They have like all these trips. I remember Jack Eichel say, like, I don't know why they want to do all the. I remember I did a thing for the NHL with all the members, a lot of the members of Team North America. One of the first things Eichel said is, "Why are we here? We didn't do anything. We didn't win anything. Like, we played our games and we didn't qualify for the semis or the final. Like, we didn't do anything here." But it's all that anyone talked about. But you think of some of the greatest games that we've seen in North America. The emotionally charged, the ones that have the biggest prestige are Olympics, but that's just the nature of that event and the history and the prestige of the gold medal. But as far as quality of games go, 87, 96, 76, like, these were the games, right? That everybody, you know what, this is it, and it's more physical, and it's more emotional, and it's what we're used to. And sure, we're not going to love the officiating every time, but we'll take it over the European standard any day of the week. I think that's why complementing the Olympic schedule, the World Cup schedule here, is just as important, and it's something the NHL can control and the NHL Players Association can help grow the game with.
Yeah, like I wonder if after 2032, that's a few Olympics, and the players now have had a chance to play in both Olympics and World Cups. If they're like, hey, maybe we can go, because I know why they're doing the World Cup in February, because of that's the same schedule, so you get on the routine. That's fine. It's always February. But if they decide, maybe we don't need to go to soccer, doesn't have their best men in the Olympics for soccer, and they have the World Cup, and they have their Euro Cups. They have other things that maybe the NHL says, hey, we'll go back, and I could still make the argument that September's better. Now, maybe from a marketing standpoint, I could be wrong on that. And now that it's changed, because that's what I grew up with. So I would be fair to listen to it from a marketing standpoint and say, well, this actually gets more people involved during the year. And they could be right. And if that's the case, then they'll stick with it. But I think as people see the World Cups more often, I think they might see that the quality of play, Jeff, as you say, is better. And that's why tonight's game, I expect it to be electrifying. Which American forward do you think? I've seen some rumors that people think, well, maybe it's Kyle Connor, because he was one of the later guys on the ice. But now I talked to a guy in Boston and said he wasn't out there any later. Like, he might have been the last guy out there, but it wasn't long. You know what I mean? So who do you think they take out of their lineup?
I mean, everything kind of does point at Kyle Connor, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
like
might.
Like, don't you think like that's where this thing is heading? That it's maybe certainly unpopular and distasteful for Winnipeg Jets fans, and I know it's hard to take listen. This is going to be a close game, so it's difficult to say like, hey, 50 goal shooter, you get out of the lineup. We don't have room for the in here for you. I know, but at the same time, like that's the one name that I keep coming back to, and I keep circling. So bluntly, to me, it looks, feels, and I would suspect it's Kyle Connor that comes out of this one, which I know is bizarre.
Yeah.
Because man, you need as many goal scorers in this one as you can. Like I know we've talked, and I know I certainly have talked about Jordan Binnington so far this tournament has allowed one clunker every single game, and one clunker could be the difference.
Yes.
Just like you take a 50 goal scorer out of the lineup, missing that one goal and not having Kyle Connor there, who's always one shot away from getting you back into the game, is a tough decision to make. But it looks like that's the direction we're headed here.
Jeff, and the game ends, and then everybody flies home, and then boom, the NHL season renews on Saturday, which is awesome. You look at that at Eastern Conference playoff race, Detroit, Ottawa are currently in, then you got Boston, and you've got the Rangers, and you got Columbus, which is a great storyline, and maybe the Islanders, although, with their injuries, I don't think so. I think they're going to move some guys too. But you look at Boston, and, McAvoy, now he tweeted out today he's out of hospital, so that's good, but that doesn't mean he's ready to play by any stretch of the imagination. Do you think they can get in, or is Ottawa's schedule, and by the way, they have one game outside the Eastern time zone for the rest of the season. That's in Chicago on March 5th. That's it. So they got great travel. They play 16 out of 26 at home. Is this year the Senators finally get back to the playoffs for the first time since 17?
I have been false started so many times on the Ottawa Senators. I've bit so many. Remember how we all used to bite on the San Jose Sharks winning the Stanley Cup? This is the year.
Oh God, yeah.
This is the year, right? How many times did you bite, Jason? I bit plenty.
Ray Ferraro and I, we had like a running gag. I think 3 years in a row we did, both of us. God, it's hilarious.
I would always bite. Listen, I first of all, I really want the Ottawa Senators in. And I want the Senators in because I think an opening round matchup between the Ottawa Senators and
Toronto
Leafs. And listen, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion Toronto wins that thing.
Not at all.
Whatsoever. That's why that one gets really juicy. But to me, Ottawa's going to come and go with their goaltending. And I know Marilainen has been fantastic for them, and that's great and all that, but, they need Linus Ullmark in there. The problem is with Linus Ullmark, I mean, the hospital bracelet has been one. And two, there have been so many times where Linus Ullmark has either not been able to go or not been able to perform if he was able to go in big pressure situations. Like there's only been, and this is going to sound harsh, but here we go. There's only been one time in Linus Ullmark's career where he sort of rose to the challenge and won big games. And it was in the American League. And there was a stretch there where every time Rochester played Utica, all I would get like from scouts and stuff, like there would be like all these texts saying like, you won't believe what we're seeing as Thatcher Demko with Utica and Linus Allmark at Rochester are putting on a clinic and are staring down each other from one end of the ice to the other. And it's incredible. And Allmark is toying with them. And I think like Buffalo was always seduced by that. I know he's got the Vezina with Boston. I think there's a lot more reasons that he won that we probably don't talk about enough. But there hasn't been like those big moments where all the eyes are on Allmark. He's got to win a game, or he's got to put that stretch together where it really counts, and it hasn't been there.
Oh God!
When you look at Allmark's skill, like I think like Jason, honestly, you can make the argument he's a top, like just his skill, okay, his skill. He's a top 10 goalie in the NHL.
Easy.
Just like the skill alone, but that like I don't know, that intangible, that like fight through it factor that goalies like Marc-Andre Fleury have. Like, I'm going to abandon everything and just make a save. It's not there. And sorry, I shouldn't say it's not. It just hasn't been there. That's why, as much as I want to say, yes, Ottawa's going to make it, I keep coming back to, well, show me the time that Allmark's performed in a pressure situation. Because it hasn't been there. Hasn't been there ever.
And I'm very curious about, like, he wasn't playing for his team, but then made sure he was healthy enough to go to the Four Nations. I just wonder, like, he better come back and play like a house on fire for them, because that's
listen. Steve Staios really stuck his neck out on this one. Yeah. That's a massive deal, and that one has to work for the Ottawa Senators. Absolutely has to work.
Yeah, Jeff, what's your prediction? Who wins tonight, and who gets the game winner?
It is going to be, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on in Edmonton. This is going to be a Connor McDavid game-winning goal. Canada wins. I want to say 6-5 because it's always been the Canadian score, right? 87, 72. No, this has 4-3 written all over it for me. And because I don't want my blood pressure to be too high, I'm going to say it's not overtime. It's regulation.
Okay.
But it's a Connor McDavid goal, 4-3 Canada.
Ooh, I love it. Jeffrey, great stuff, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the game.
Thanks, boys.
It's Jeff Merrick, host of The Sheet at dailyfaceoff.com. We'll come back. We got 5 questions and more on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And a text coming in, 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox.
Attention drivers, it's the midwinter tire clearance sale at Fountain Tire. Right now, you can save up to 20% off all in-stock winter tires. That's right, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible savings. But don't wait, this sale ends March 8th. And once they're gone, they're gone. Contact your local Fountain Tire for complete details.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
For years now, we've been warning Edmontonians on the hazards of our stormwater facilities. While they may appear to look like still ponds, there is moving water beneath the surface, which makes the ice dangerously. The unpredictability of stormwater facilities makes them treacherously unsafe for all winter activities, even walking. So think twice. Don't go on the ice. A safety message from EPCOR.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
The Battle in the Cattails is coming February 22nd and 23rd at Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club. Bike, ATV, and for the first time ever, high-octane UTV ice racing. Feel the thrill as racers battle it out on the ice. Want to race? Register now at cattailcrossing.ca. Just want to watch? Grab your tickets on Eventbrite. Only $10 for individuals, $20 for families. It's going to be an action-packed weekend with all the high-speed ice racing at Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Putting your name in people's minds and hearts starts with Above and Beyond Promotions. They'll put it on anything and everything else. See your company name and logo displayed on almost anything you can imagine, from t-shirts and hats to backpacks, shopping bags, pens, USB drives, and much, much more. Above and Beyond Promotions specializes in making your name known for company meeting promotions, gifts, and more. Above and Beyond Promotions, official promotional supplier of Sports 1440. Visit abpromo.ca.
Hair Aware with Dr. Vance Elliott.
Hey, Dr. Vance, does a hair transplant have to look like a hair transplant? There's a guy at work, his is totally obvious.
My goal is to give every one of my patients a full, natural-looking head of hair, so I stay up to date on the latest innovations. This is science, and more importantly, an art. I do things differently and move more hair than is normally done, resulting in a thicker look that is also more natural.
Trust a world-renowned expert in hair restoration. Book an appointment at drvanceelliott.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Getting closer, boys and girls, an hour and a half away from puck drop tonight. Canada and the United States. The orders arrived in Philly for Oiler fans who need their fix on the blue and orange. Matt Savoy was on the plane. He will be officially activated tomorrow or Saturday. Let's get to 5 questions now, brought to you by The Brick, from pillows, sheets, adjustable bases, and more. They've got everything you need for the best night's sleep at The Brick Mattress Store.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, official prediction for Canada, USA tonight. If you want, mix in a bold prediction as well.
Well, Canada's winning. Sure, that's all I can think about. I don't think about a lot. I only think about a win. And I just want there to be some goals. So I'll say 4-2. Canada. Bold prediction, 3-point game for Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I'll go 5-2 then. Empty netter and bold prediction. I'll go 3-point night for Sidney Crosby with a goal as well, which leads me into my next question. When it comes to Canadian hockey players at the international level, where does Sidney Crosby rank to you?
Yeah, he'll be up there. There's no question. Like, you know, obviously scored the golden goals that gets remembered and probably gets him a lot more accolades. No question about it. You know, Gretzky and Lemieux were pretty good. Like the 1991 Canada Cup team, man, it never really gets talked about because they dominated, right? And you know, Gretz had 12 points in that tournament. Like you look at like what's the leader going to have in this tournament? 7?
It's 5 right now. Crosby and Werenski. Yeah.
So now they played a few more games, so I should take that in mind too. But it's funny. Like I saw well, the best of the best leading scorer is going to have 11 points. I'm like, A, there's only 4 games. B, it's not a lot of goals. C, it's hard for one guy to really dominate a game repeatedly in this tournament. So Crosby will definitely be up there. I think just because of, he was there in 10 and 14. And, there's generations where they never got the opportunity to go to the Olympics, right? So it's a different beast. And that's why, to me, like the Canada Cup wins, those were the Olympics. That's what it was. People, it wasn't as many countries. Yeah, because they weren't good. Just because you have 12 countries in the Olympics, when the 9th to 12th team has 0, and I mean 0 chance of winning or getting a medal, that doesn't mean the tournament's better than one that has 6 really good teams.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I got to have him up top 1, top 2. Shout out to Ryan Smith, the guy who is loved by, I think, a lot of Edmontonians in my age range for always representing Canada when he got the call. But 2 golds in the Olympics, World Championship, World Cup, and a World Junior Gold for Sidney Crosby. I have him top 2 for sure. Question number 3 for you. I've seen a lot of people talking about the top 4 skaters on the ice tonight, talking skaters only, being Canadian: McDavid, McKinnon, Makar, and Crosby. If you take those 4 players out, who would be in your top 5 on the ice?
Wow. Zach Werenski, for sure. He's had an unreal tournament. I put him in there. I put Braden Point without question. So not goalies, right? We're just talking
not
skaters.
Goalies.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I have Point and Werenski. Who would be the other guys I would have in there? Just in like how they played in the tournament or career wise?
Just career talent right now, how they are. Yeah.
Well, it's hard to go against the Turtle. The guy makes an impact, man. He does. Like, he shows up in big games. So I would put him in there. I would have. That's a good question. Who else?
I've got the same 3 as you so far.
Yeah.
And then I had Sam Reinhart and Jack Eichel.
Yeah, Eichel is who I was thinking. Yeah, Reinhart had one good game, but yeah, I don't know. I probably wouldn't have him. I might have Eichel for sure. That's a good one. I would go. Well, he's out, too bad, but I really like Charlie McAvoy's playing this tournament, but he's not playing tonight. So I guess I would go. In the tournament still, or just Canadian? Well, I guess I could look at some of the other guys from Sweden or Finland. I'm not sure. I'd still go. No, I'd put Barkov in the tournament. I'd put Barkov.
Yeah,
but if we're saying tonight's game, then I guess I can't. So then I will go. Yeah, you know what? I probably could agree with you on Reinhart, I guess. But there's no one that there's no obvious one that stands out to me after that. I'll say that.
For sure.
Actually, you know what? I'm changing. I'm going Brady Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk's had a bigger impact for me.
Okay. I also like Kyle Connor, but man, if he's not playing tonight, that's something. Question number 4 for you. Just looking at this tournament and what we've seen, do you think it's something that's been big enough to get a non-hockey fan to start watching on a regular basis? And I'm not talking like elite, best of the best playoffs, but Wednesday night hockey, Rangers Islanders game.
Well, you have to start somewhere, right? And hopefully people that watch this are like, wow, it's great. Like, the emotion's higher. It's easy to get wrapped up in it. But then to become a fan is you have to accept kind of the average games for your team or, your country, for instance. So I do think it opens people's eyes to the possibility of what the sport is when it's at its best, right? Because that's really what it is, right? Every sport at its best, you're like, okay, wow, this is what it's capable of. Now, what is it all the time? Not every game's great. Every diehard Oiler fan would tell you there's some games where they're like, you know what? I might skip this one. I don't have to watch this game. So I think it'll pique their interest enough that maybe they become because you're not just instantly a diehard. Well, I guess I can't say can't. I'd say odds are low, but maybe they become a 20% fan. That's still pretty good. And that's what you want. You want to get a lot more that are like, oh, okay, I'll watch 6 games a year now. Well, that's a pretty big jump from 0.
Yeah, I mean, and I think going forward, maybe a fan's like, oh, Sens are playing Brady Tkachuk. Hey, he got in that fight. Like, I think there are ways for a casual to start to grow the game and get into it. So I think it has been. I think, that game on last Saturday night was huge and hopefully opens up some more eyes. The final question for you. We're feeling patriotic. Give me your favorite Canadian musician, actor, and food item.
Go ahead.
If I'm going to go actor, I'll take Seth Rogen. Find his movies to be quite funny. There's lots. Musicians, if I have to go back in my whole life, like Sum 41, who just played, probably would be the top one. I like Drake, despite Kendrick Lamar kind of putting him through some rough times. And food item, Kit Kat Chunky Chocolate Bar.
I do like the Kit Kat Chunky, man. That is, it's very good. Honestly, that's my favorite chocolate bar. So
good. Yeah.
So, but I'm still going to go poutine fries when they're made properly. They're unreal. Favorite Canadian musician? I'm still going Bryan Adams. Just there's lots of great ones. Don't get me wrong, but I love Bryan Adams at that time. And Summer of '69 is one of the greatest songs ever to sing along to. Absolutely love it. And then favorite Canadian actor. Ooh, that is now that's a little bit more difficult. I would probably have to go with Jim Carrey. Now, is Keanu Reeves Canadian?
Yes.
Oof. I'm still going to go with Jim Carrey. But God, there's a lot, right? Like John Candy for years is unreal. Michael J. Fox, Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Gosling. God, there's a lot. But I'm going to go with Jim Carrey, man. He was great.
He had a heck of a run.
Yeah. Rachel McAdams, too. Met her. Yeah. Very nice. So, yeah, it's a lot of good ones, man. Hey, we'll come back. Mark Spector. Also, we'll get the American side of things with Bernstein coming up. So we got Canada and then the U.S. We'll go back to back as we head into the final hour. Before puck drop, baby, Canada and the United States. Let's get to the comment on Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice as they continue to give away free smoothies every day this month. You can follow them online and you can get it early in the day. Or if you're just driving home, you're like, geez, might have to stop in at Booster Juice. Well, guess what? If your name is Joshua or Aaron, you can win. That's Erin, Aaron. Now, I don't know. What if you're a guy and it's spelled double, like Aaron? Does that count? I can't confirm that. I don't know. I just have the sheet that says Joshua and Aaron because they have two names. But I think if you go in with the Aaron, you might get one. Only a Booster Juice.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
We've got hockey tonight. Four Nation face-off final. Canada taking on the United States. Listed as a 6 o'clock puck drop. Should be closer to 6:20. Calgary Flames will place defenseman Tyson Barrie on waivers. If he clears, he'll be assigned to the AHL. In the AJHL, Whitecourt is in Fort Mac. That one gets going at 7:30. And in the PWHL, we're moments away from puck drop as Boston takes on Ottawa. San Antonio Spurs star Victor Wembanyama's season is likely over after he was diagnosed with a blood clot in his right shoulder. He's beginning treatment immediately, and the Spurs are working under the expectation that he will fully recover. Those Spurs are in action tonight, taking on the Suns just after 7:30. You also got the Lakers, Trailblazers, the Nuggets host the Hornets, Clippers in Milwaukee, Cavs taking on the Nets, Hawks host the Magic, and the Celtics taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. From Major League Baseball, Aaron Boone and the Yankees agreeing to a 2-year contract extension that'll keep him in the pinstripes through the 2027 season. And in the NFL, 9-time Pro Bowl guard Zach Martin has informed the Cowboys he plans to retire after 11 seasons. Martin was selected back in 2014, 16th overall. He is a 9-time All-Pro. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Blue Jays fans, are you ready? Spring training is here, and every Sunday at 11 a.m., Sports 1440 carries Blue Jays baseball. Put yourself in Florida, in the heat, in the stands, having a cold one, listening to Sports 1440.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
When was the last time your electricity and natural gas provider made you feel like this? Low rates, no strings attached, year-round perks, and local energy experts who always have your back. With Encore by Epcor. Find that carefree energy feeling at encore.epcor.com/carefree.
Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822 toll-free.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Feeding a crowd, get the triple play. 3 large specialty or 5 topping pizzas for only $54 when you use promo code 3play at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back as we continue on an hour and 10 minutes or so from a puck drop tonight, Canada and the United States. Get home safe. Take your time. Make sure your lights are on and rock and roll, boys and girls, as the final of 4 Nations is here. Tonight it is the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, X and Instagram. Thanks for watching and listening. As we gear you up for the big game, a little sprinkle in some Oiler talk as they landed in Philadelphia today. And they, like all of you, will be watching the game as fans tonight. The Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50 and you'll get a free $50 play this month of February at PlayAlberta.ca. Also, the Daily Grand. Tonight, get your tickets, $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. Or you can get the lump sum, but every day, it would be nice. PlayAlberta.ca. Let's talk a little hockey as we go out to Philadelphia. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. The Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. And hey, they're proudly Canadian. All they care about tonight, go Canada, go from GS Construction. As Mark Spector joins us once again. Spec, how you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Pumped up here like everybody else. Somehow this day's taking a long time, Jay. How come?
Yeah. Did you find a sports bar in Philadelphia?
Yeah, this is a little bit different because I'm not going somewhere where there's no sound. So our good friend Kevin Kurz from The Athletic out here has found a place not far from where I'm staying, and they have promised the sound will be up. So after this interview, I'm going to walk over and meet him and watch a hockey game.
Well, I would hope the sound is up. Come on now. Like Americans are getting into this tournament a little bit. Like tonight's a pretty big game. I would assume for lots of people and maybe not. Like maybe it's just, like ESPN's talking about it probably more one day than they have probably in their entire existence of that station.
Yeah, I've actually had my eye on ESPN here in my hotel room, and you're right. They are talking a lot of hockey. People who don't talk much hockey are talking hockey, right? Like some of the anchors that you can tell it's not coming, it's like me talking college basketball, man. I just don't know all the principles. So good for them. They're not just talking about it because ESPN has the property. They're talking about it because it's an important story down here. It's an important game. So you know what I want to say, Jay? Like we've gone from asking each other, are people going to care about this tournament to tonight? One of the, this is, I mean, will there be more eyes on this game than Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final? I'll bet you there will be.
Oh, yeah. Well, because in the Stanley Cup Final, there's only two fan bases that really are genuinely engaged, right?
Right.
And you have some other fans who, okay, I'll watch here or there. But tonight you've got fans from both countries who are like, hey, you know what? I don't care. Like it's not my team, it's my country. And that just makes it a little bit more exciting. And you have, significantly more people interested to watch.
Yeah, it is amazing. Like this, I read today, this tournament has no past and it has no future, right? There may never be another four-nation face-off. I assume there won't be because the World Cup's coming back and you're going back to the Olympics. So for a tournament that has never been played before and is never going to get played again, it has produced some great hockey, and it is about to produce a game tonight that I think we're going to talk about for a long, long time.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I know the tournament won't come back. I'm like, it's not going to be any. They call it the World Cup. You can change the name, but at the end of the day, you know what? When Russia ever comes back in, okay, they're in. But then after that, all the other teams are still a step below, and in some cases, 2 rungs below. So, what's been great about this tournament that I would argue is every game has been pretty intense, and there's very close games. Like I know Finland got blown out in the third period of the one game, okay, but other than that. It hasn't been that way. And I would argue that the overall talent pool in this tournament is arguably going to be one of the best you'll ever see, just because when you get the bigger they make the tournament in hockey, it starts to lower the talent pool. It just does. You could do it in the World Cup and everywhere else in hockey. I mean, in any other sport.
No, that's fair. I mean, these are certainly 4 nations that can fill 4 complete rosters with NHL players. The minute you get the Czechs involved, now they start to maybe run out of guys a little bit. The minute you get, obviously teams like Germany and stuff, they can't fill a roster. So yes, this is a great concentration of talent. I mean, I still think that, I like a World Cup where there's a few more people. I think they have to figure out a way to it's really hard. You want Leon Draisaitl in the tournament, but you don't want him on a team full of guys that play in Europe, right? So you got to figure all that out, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know, or maybe they go back to a Team Europe. Who knows? But if you want a team that's competitive, that's what they do. But we'll see.
There's only like 6 or 7 Germans in the league, right? And there's only a few of those guys there's some pretty good Germans, but not 10 of them.
No, God, no, not at all. So you look at the game spec, and when you talk to Kurz and other American guys around the team, what's their feeling on the importance of this? And like, if the U.S. comes up short again, is it a big blow, or have they made significant strides because you've got a lot of non-hockey people talking about it, that it's still a win for that country as far as promoting the game?
Yeah, listen, we've already, if the measuring stick is promoting the game, they've already won. You know, I'm watching ESPN. It's an hour before the game, and they're on air. They have an hour pregame show. It looks like a lot of the people in the country, the president's involved in this thing. So that if that's our measuring stick, Jay, they've already the exposure down here.
Right.
You know, I saw a clip out of spring training. One of the managers said some baseball writer asked him if he's watching the game tonight. He says, I don't even know the rules of the game, but I'm watching for sure. So, yeah, if for sure, the guys on the ice aren't going to say for Team USA, "Oh well, we lost, but we had a lot of exposure for the game." No.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah,
no chance.
How do you see this game unfolding tonight, Spec?
I see Canada shot out of a cannon, is what I see. I see Hellebuck. You know, my measuring stick is the old days when you used to go into Chicago Stadium. If you could survive the first 10 minutes and only be down 1-0, it was almost like you were on your way to a road victory. I think that's what happens tonight. I think it will be the USA is at home. I think the USA is probably, I'm not saying they're nervous. I'm not saying it that way, but they're probably they might be a little tight. Right, they might be a little tight. I think Canada's going to be shot out of a cannon. I think the first 10 minutes, if it's 0-0, that's victory USA for them for the first 10 minutes. I think Canada, when they get domination, Jay, they got to get something past Hellebuck. If they dominate this guy for a period and don't have any goals or only have one goal, there again, to me, that's a win for the US. They got to solve Hellebuck. They got to get a couple past them. We've seen it happen. Colorado poured pucks past this guy last spring, and that's what Canada has to do. When they have domination, it's got to go in, man.
Mark Spector joins us. What are you expecting from 97 tonight?
Yeah, probably maybe one of the best games we've ever seen, right? And I don't think you could, define best game. We've all watched them get 4 points, 5 points, 6 points, dominate everybody. This field is too good, right? Even the great Connor McDavid is not going to go out there and rack up 5 points tonight. But you will see Connor McDavid in a game like he's never played before. Even Game 7, this is different, right?
Yeah.
He's way healthier, for one. He's way more rested. And he's doing something with a red jersey on right now that he's never done before. I'm not telling you it's more important. Connor McDavid would take a Stanley Cup over a face-off cup or whatever we're calling this thing every day. But I think you'll see Connor McDavid as good as you could possibly see him play.
Yeah, I agree with you on the cup because it is a battle, and it's years with the same group, or for the majority of it, your core, and you go through 4 rounds, and you're right, you're probably more banged up. It lasts 2 months, doesn't last 10 days, but
travel.
Yeah.
Remember how much they traveled? Oh my God!
Yeah. But then you also don't have the entire nation cheering you on, right? So it's just different. I would say the Stanley Cup ultimately is still going to mean more because of what you go, but it's a different type of thing. But I talked to Corey Perry about it, and when he said the build up to the game, your feelings in the game at that moment aren't much different. Now, when you look back on the whole journey and everything, yes, it's different. But the game itself and the excitement, playing Braden Point with McDavid worked very well, and I expect it to have success again tonight. We had Kevin Woodley on the show, and he broke down the best. He talked about one of the best ways to beat Connor Hellebuyck is because he sees the ice very well. He anticipates well, and he said what Colorado did was lots of tips and lots of traffic in front. Canada did neither in the first game. I think you're going to see a lot more guys going to the net. And so, it's not just shoot the puck on net, but it's shoot the puck like McDavid's goal, a layered screen, right, on Lankinen. He didn't see it. And those are the type of plays that Canada has to create tonight.
Yeah, there's no question they were way too east-west, and they were way too selective with their shots in the first game against the USA. And you make the point. Hellebuck's too good to say, I'm just going to volume shot on them and we're going to win. You got to shoot the guy's got to get to the net before you shoot. So if he can't see it, he probably will still save it, but at least you got someone there for a rebound. So yes, you will see more Canadian pucks going to the net than you saw the other night against USA. Absolutely, for sure.
The switch to the orders now, Spec. They arrive into Washington same time as you. Matt Savoy's on the plane. As I said earlier in the week, he's going to play on this trip. I fully expect him to play in Philly, right? Do you?
I think so. I mean, it's, if you and me are coaching the team, it sounds like he's playing against the Flyers. You never know. I don't have any intel on it to say yes or no. But if it's me, yeah, I'm playing him against Philly for sure. Yeah, and when you look at this road trip, man, it's no joke. They got some really tough teams, and Philly's the weakest of the teams by a significant margin. If they want to go 3-2 in the trip, I think they need a win in Philly. I know it's their first game back and everything like that, but they got to come out ready to go. Hey, listen, hard teams, and you never know coming out of a break necessarily what you're going to get. I mean, who does the Flyers have in this thing? They've got Konechny, who's I don't even think he's playing tonight, correct? No, he's not playing tonight. They had Urson. They have Sanheim. Right, Sanheim's playing. There you go. So, listen, Edmonton has Connor McDavid, their very best player. So, you know what? I'll be when you're McDavid and you show up at the whatever we're calling the rink here these days. What is the name of the rink in Philly? I can't even remember. It's changed. Comcast? Is it Comcast? No, it's got another one. Bank of something. Anyway, I like to call it the new Spectrum, Jay. Yeah. When you show up there on Saturday and you jump on the ice, isn't that game moving at about 30% slower pace than what you've been playing for the last week? Right? Oh, probably. Yeah. I talked to Corey Perry about that too, and he just said, "Hey, it's hard mentally, it's hard emotionally," but he talked about the 3 guys who come back, and he goes, they know what our goal is here, and he expects him to be professional and ready to go. And McDavid's a captain. People were like, oh, maybe he'll rest the game. I'm like, there is no, unless McDavid gets injured tonight, he's a captain of the Oilers. He knows that's his main priority. He wants to win badly with the Oilers. He will be in that lineup, no doubt in my mind. I'm telling you right now, I suspect I'm going out to the practice in Verhees tomorrow at noon Eastern. I fully expect him to be at practice. I'm not telling you he's going to skate, but I think that Connor McDavid will be there with his teammates and back. Here I am. I'm ready to lead this team. Let's go, boys. I think I personally think he'll get a flight back early, and we'll see him out in Verhees. All right. Well, Spec, enjoy the game tonight. We'll chat with you tomorrow. I'm pumped, brother. Can't wait for it, man. Me neither. It should be awesome. That's Mark Spector joining us from Philly. We'll come back and we'll get the American side of thing with Dennis Bernstein on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. All right. Well, Spec, enjoy the game. We'll chat with you tomorrow. Visit PlayAlberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply. Construction as Mark Spector joins us once again. Spec, how you doing?
Today?
Nice. I love free drinks.
Yeah, Booster Juice called your name today on the Booster Rewards app. So you get a free smoothie, booster mixer, or fresh juice.
Well then, why are we still sitting here just talking about it?
Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. 2 names every day, all February long. Must be a Booster Rewards app member. For complete details, visit boosterjuice.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, and Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your Magic clubs. And guess what?
Dang.
They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes! FittedGolf.ca.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m. Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pinquitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers score and win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave in 118th.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Well, we're getting closer, less than an hour away from puck drop tonight. Canada, USA, one of the most anticipated games in a long, long time. It's awesome. A young generation of hockey fan. First time. Heck, you got a lot of new fans in the United States specifically who are all of a sudden like, hey, this game's pretty damn exciting. The hell have I been waiting for? Like ESPN's actually talking about it all day, which is fantastic. A gentleman who has talked about the NHL for a long, long time from the fourth period. Dennis Bernstein joins us. Dennis, my man, a huge game tonight. Lots of anticipation, lots of excitement. Now you've covered this game for a long time in the U.S. and you're in a big market in L.A. and they've had success, but hockey it's been a slow growth. When you compare it to maybe the other sports. How big has this tournament been, regardless of the outcome tonight? Obviously, I know Americans want their team to win. That would be the the Cinderella story for sure. But how much benefit do you think we're going to see from this long term?
Well, gentlemen, in quotes, when you refer to me, Jason. So first of all, here's the deal. I've been doing this a long time, as you said. I had 6 requests for TV and radio today. I've never had that many. Like non-sports fans are watching this game tonight, Jason. This is the biggest game. This is probably bigger than Game 7 last year, like on the total sports landscape. It is a great promotion for this game. We want, what's the phrase, Jason? Grow the game. We're growing the game tonight. We've grown it for the last 10 games. Hopefully it culminates in an epic game tonight here at TD Garden.
The Saturday game was monumental, man. So it's not the best game I've ever seen, but it was, I would argue that's the greatest start to an important game that I can recall. It got everybody engaged. And whether you're a hockey fan, non-hockey fan, I'm like, what is happening? It was unreal. And I don't expect that again tonight just because it's hard to be that in any series. But the anticipation that maybe it happens, I think brings some people to even want to watch the game more just in case.
And Jason, I think there's a betting site that had 50 props on fighting, just fighting. Will someone get cut? Will there be goalie fights? Will you fight after the first, second, or third period? So yeah, it raises the anticipation. But Jason, I think the difference is, like you just said, when they drop the puck, it's hockey. It's man on man, best on best. A little bit of a sideshow, and I agree with you, Jason. I've seen a lot. I'll never see that again. I mean, I'm sitting in the gondola in Montreal. Okay, fight. That's great. A second fight, a third fight. Are you kidding me? A different type of intensity tonight here in Boston.
Give me your thoughts on, I've seen some reports that maybe it's Kyle Connor. Is it indeed going to be Kyle Connor, you think, who comes out of the lineup tonight?
Yeah, that's the way. And, he wasn't really effective. But, I mean, how do you lose with any of these players, Jason? I mean, he hasn't been effective in first couple of games for Canada. He wants to go in a different route. They didn't create a lot of offense against this team. So, yeah, that's what I'm hearing as well. That's a tough player to take out of the lineup, Jason, for sure.
Yeah, well, he came in, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he have the most points of any American player on the team coming into the tournament? But it's a short tournament, and you know what? I guess if he hasn't, because I noticed, like I saw him in the Canada game, I'm like, geez, this guy's on their fourth line all of a sudden. Like it's it's crazy. Like Brady Tkachuk doesn't produce as much in the regular season, but he's built for games like this. Like his energy alongside his brothers. Like, how much do you think the ailment factor will be a factor tonight for Team USA?
JG, I'll be honest with you. I think it's the biggest advantage for Canada is the health of the U.S. No Charlie McAvoy. And, Austin's not at 100%. Brady and Matthew aren't. Now, can you win with an 85% Matthew Tkachuk and a 75% Austin Matthews and a 60% Brady Tkachuk? Yeah, you can. But I think that's the biggest advantage because there's not much separating these teams. I think the health factor, how many minutes are these guys going to play? Because 97 played 15 minutes against the U.S. on Saturday night. You really think he's going to play 15 minutes tonight, Jason? Do you really think that's going to happen? He's going to just roll 4 lines? No, I trust Coop, and he's going to play a lot more tonight.
Yeah, that was going to be my next one. As you look at the matchup here, Charlie McAvoy did a great job, man. I've covered McDavid for a decade. I don't know if I've ever seen him hit clean like that before. And it was a clean hit. There's nothing wrong with it. And he stepped up twice on him. And it's not like to have that timing as a defenseman is hard enough. Never mind the fastest guy in the league. So how do you think the U.S. is going to try to defend? Who are they going to put out against him tonight?
The weird thing is when I did post game for SiriusXM, I looked at the time on ice after Saturday night. Werenski's a pretty good defenseman. I think Adam Fox won the Norris. They played 13 minutes each. Played 25 minutes? Slavin and Brock Faber. Yes. So the fact that McAvoy's out, he was a second-pair defenseman. Look, they're going to win with defense. And I'll tell you, down the middle, you still go Matthews, Eichel, Larkin, and Trocheck. I think that's their path to victory. I think they have to replicate what they did. And now the one difference is the zone entries for Canada wasn't great on Saturday night. With Cale Makar, it's going to be a different tune.
100%. How much do you think the political heat that's going on right now impacts this game, Dennis? Not like on the ice, but just the interest level around the game.
I think it's a sideshow, Jason, to be honest with you. But I'll tell you, in the arena, Canada's represented well. And they started checking, let's go Canada. And then USA, it was 10 times as loud. So I don't think so, Jason. I think we want to see a hockey game. I get it. I understand how Canadians feel about our president. I understand it. I respect it. I think what that does is puts a very small stain on a great tournament that we've had.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you. On American people and the players, it's irrelevant to it. It's just it's kind of I can see why Canadians are fired up, and I understand why some people voiced their displeasure when the games were in Canada. You look at the other matchups like Canada. The other thing is their lineup's different now. Braden Point, as I've been arguing from day one, he should be in the top 6. They put him with McDavid. No surprise, that line clicked. And then the McKinnon line clicked with Reinhart. It's a very different lineup, really, because the McDavid line in that game, outside of himself, his 2 wingers did nothing. But Stolen Point, you're expecting a bigger contribution from them than we've seen from Martin and Reinhart.
Yeah, I think that's what Coop looked at the video, I'm sure, of the game Saturday night and said, I gotta have a different look. So at least to start the game, it's the right decision to make. And I'm not going to second guess John Coop ever. But, yeah, there wasn't enough offense on Saturday night. So you flip the lines, you try and see what happens, if they drop the puck a little after 8 o'clock.
Yeah. The intensity in the building, Dennis, and like the first 5 minutes of tonight, I don't need fights for having tense hockey. But, man, the start of this game is going to be electric, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not sure it can equal Montreal, Jason, though. Yes. But it's going to be close. But, I mean, an early goal. And, I think here's the deal with the intensity. I think all the pressure's on the U.S., Jason, because I'm sure Canadians know they always win at this level in international game. And I remember what Matthew Tkachuk said earlier in the week. This is our time. Well, if it's your time, win tonight. So if it's another Connor McDavid goal early, all the pressure reverts to the U.S. I think the pressure's on them. Not that Canada's playing with the house money, but if they can get out to a lead early, because that's with Connor Halley. If you don't beat them early, you're not going to beat them late. So I think the first 5 minutes for Canada is essential if they can jump out to a lead. I really think that helps their chances to win tonight.
Dennis, give me a surprise performer from each team tonight for you.
The guy who dropped the gloves with Matthew Tkachuk on Saturday. I love Brandon Hagel. I think he's, when he came to Tampa, I didn't know. He played in Chicago. Who's Brandon Hagel? He is a tough MFer. He really is. I think that's the guy I would look at. And a guy who's really not done really anything, I'll go with Jersey's Jack Hughes. Maybe the little guy on the wing gets some speed, but I think those two players. But Hagel, I really love. He's been a great player for Tampa. He could be a really, in the middle six, he could have got it that could make the difference, because I think what's going to happen, Jason, to your point, I think the top 6 guys could cancel each other out. So you're looking at maybe your third line, maybe a second line winger. That could make the difference tonight.
Well, Dennis, it's going to be a heck of a game, man. I really appreciate you taking some time out of a busy day. Enjoy it, and we'll chat with you down the road, man. And hockey comes right again on Saturday. Everybody's back in it, so it should be awesome.
Let's all enjoy the game, JG. Great being with you.
There you go. That's Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period, joining us live from Boston. Cons?
Gregor, Josh Morrissey out with illness. Thomas Harley drawing in.
No.
Yeah, that's just coming down now.
Okay. Well, there you go. Hey, and you know what? Hey, Thomas Harley played very well when in that first game with really no practice or anything. So, you know what? Obviously, you don't want Josh Morrissey out, but I think that's he'll be able to handle it. I really liked Harley's game against US when he had to come in that night. What about you?
I thought he handled himself very well, actually. So it obviously is tough. It's not something you want to see. Man, you got to feel for Morrissey. This is a big game. He would have probably been geared up to get into, but if he's sick, it's going around. I mean, Cale Makar, I didn't miss the game last Saturday, but I think Harley, very well acquitted himself in the first game. Probably good for him to get into that game, maybe take a little bit of the nerves away. I think the Team Canada, the fan should have full confidence in him.
Yeah, no, I think it's tough to lose Morrissey, but I think Harley can more than fill his skates, shall we say. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, wrap things up. We're getting closer, boys and girls. Canada, US, you got to be excited. Enjoy it. Have a lot of fun. We'll return, wrap it up on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
It may sound cliche, but it's true. Building something new starts with a solid foundation. At GS Construction, we're growing Edmonton subdivisions with deep utility services and infrastructure that lasts. Every new project begins with skilled people like you, building communities from the ground up. GS Construction is hiring.
Outcome tonight. Obviously, I know America think we're going
your skills
to
work
but
for Edmonton and area in 2025.
How big has this tournament?
Visit gsconstruction.ca and join a team that digs deep and builds stronger.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
Attention drivers, it's the midwinter tire clearance sale at Fountain Tire. Right now, you can save up to 20% off all in-stock winter tires. That's right, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible savings. But don't wait, this sale ends March 8th. And once they're gone, they're gone. Contact your local Fountain Tire for complete details.
The Edmonton Firefighters Rooftop Campout for Muscular Dystrophy is starting February 24th. Edmonton firefighters are again braving the elements by camping on the roof of Fire Hall number 2. But this year, they've decided to add a little twist and will be starting the rooftop campout with no camping equipment. The more money they raise for muscular dystrophy, the more equipment they'll get to survive an Edmonton winter, with the final goal of getting off the roof and helping this incredible cause. Donations can be made now at any Edmonton Fire Hall or online at edmontonrooftopcampout.ca.
At Papa John's, we're not just in the business of making better pizza. We're in the business of making everything better. Ambitious? Perhaps. Delicious? You better believe it. Monday? Make it a pizza party. Sick of parenting? Get Papa John's on dinner duty. Date night? We've got the recipe for romance. With our never frozen dough and always fresh toppings, Papa John's is committed to making it all better. Get better today at papajohns.ca or visit any of our 50-plus locations across Alberta. Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
I couldn't love it amore. With no payments and no interest for 1 year.
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
It's the season for love, and you're about to fall hard for the vehicle of your dreams. Presenting the outstanding 2025 XC90 from Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, you can lease your 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $4,600. Or finance a 2025 XC60 from 1.49% and save $1,500. All while being deeply infatuated by the newly upgraded, highly attractive body and wheel design. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. 1205 101 Street Southwest.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. And over the years, I've noticed something. New RV stores tend to treat the used RV customer as kind of a second-class citizen, not as important as the customer buying new. Heck, that even extends to the way they treat the used RV staff. And I ought to know.
You learn the business in the used department at a new RV store, right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. But I always loved used RVs. They're all one of a kind. I drove a used car as well. Used is always a better value than new. Come to think of it, I drive a used truck now.
Sounds like buying used means getting the most value for every dollar spent.
That's it exactly, Bob. A new RV is worth a lot less the second you roll it off the lot. Our customers benefit from that correction in value, which makes them smarter. So we treat you like a VIP because every customer and every staff member knows our used RVs are better than new.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, a little hip. Nothing says Canadiana like the hip, baby. Oh, I'm fired up for this game, man. I can't wait for the puck to drop. Exciting. I mean, this fired up. Well, you know what? It's pretty fired up to watch Game 7, but I wasn't cheering. It's different. This is one where, you know what? And there's just, I don't know. I feel like there's a little more extra Canadian pride on the line for tonight. Hey, Greg's, any idea on exact puck drop? I need to figure it out if I stay at work for the first, if I can make it home before. Around 6:20. I don't know the exact time, but say 6:20. So plan for that. I hope that you have the game recorded already, so then you could just leave and listen to like music that you got downloaded. Don't hear anything. You come home, you walk in the door, boom, hit the record button. It's like you're live anyway. You'll catch up in 10 or 15 minutes. There you go. But yeah, closer to 6:20 is likely when the puck will drop based on the times of the other games that we've seen so far in the tournament. So that would be my recommendation. Because if you look at like let's look at the last game, Canada. Sorry, not Canada, but the U.S. They played that second game, and it was right at 8:20 Eastern, 6:20. So that's likely. You got the two anthems. That gives you a little bit extra time. Way you go. Hey, boys, great news. My kids' gymnastics got canceled, so now I'm on my way home, make the game. Well, is your child disappointed? Or are they happy? Because I got a lot of texts. Hey, guys, I offered my son, who's never missed a jiu-jitsu practice, if he could miss to watch a game, and emphatically said yes. And you know what? That's what you want. Like, these are moments for parents to enjoy with your kids. I think it's great. Like your family, with their friends, buddies, you get together in a group. Some of you I know, we got text from Paul. Guys, I get everybody likes watching together. I can't. It's too stressful. This is where I watch the game alone, and I love it all by myself. And you know what? Hey, nothing wrong with that. Everybody to each their own. Some people love being like, you're going to go out to the, maybe it'll be that first round on the rocks watching the games. Maybe you got your buddies, you're in your neighborhood, you got a group of friends, you all watch it together, or you just watch it with your family, or maybe you like to watch it solo. Right? Because everybody's different. There's some pacers. Some people just can't watch it. They get too stressed. So Hey, guys, in 1972, Mr. Holt made us take a Math 7 test. What? During the game? Jeez. Oh, that'd go over. No chance. No chance.
I thought that was like TV in the gym. Benches set up, everybody watched it.
That's what I thought, too, but clearly not every school.
Jeez.
Clearly Mr. Holt wasn't a hockey fan.
Damn, Mr. Holt.
Wow. Hey, guys, kids weren't sad. We grabbed a treat of takeout food on the way home. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Love it. Hey, boys, interesting you guys talking about McDavid. Wouldn't it be better, though, to rest him even if he wants to play? Like, I don't know. Like, so think about it. So he played a game Monday, plays Thursday. Now, if he plays Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, that would be 4 games in 6 days. They've played 4 games in 6 days quite a few times before. And he didn't play, they had 2 days off. They were in Boston, so there's no travel. They haven't traveled since, they traveled, I think it was Saturday right after or Monday, right? So, or Sunday, excuse me. So he's been in Boston now for 5 days, not a lot of travel. So I don't know. McDavid is one of the most elite condition, not just skilled, but his conditioning is off the charts. So they could rest him. I'm just saying, to me, I'd be a bit surprised that he'd want to. Especially the first game. Like, if you're going to rest him, maybe you rest him the Washington game. I don't know. But maybe they look and say, well, it's Philly. It's easier game. But now you start the road trip with a loss. I don't know. I guess I'd just be surprised. I'm trying to think the last time McDavid ever sat out a game just for, quote, rest. Meaningless game at the end of the season, but they're not at the end of the season. So I don't think it's meaningless.
Isn't that when you would do it? Like right now, this is kind of just on par with a regular NHL season. You're not doing load management then. And they're right in the hunt. It's lots of hockey left, 27 games, but they're tied for first spot with the Vegas Golden Knights in the division. They need to pick up some wins. So if I'm going to do it, Gregor, I'm doing it game 80, 81, 82, and potentially you have the positioning figured out already. Right now, what's the difference than any other year? You would never consider benching him on February 22nd of previous years. Why would you do it now?
I got to go back and look. Did Sidney Crosby, did he rest after the Olympics? And they played more games.
Yeah.
But so, I don't know. Sometimes I think we're a little soft and wondering, it's just a hockey game here. I think he'll be fine. But, honestly, the Olympics played more games. And I got to go back and look. I don't recall Sidney Crosby sitting out. Go back and look in that season. Look at the 2009. And by the way, they'd been to back-to-back Stanley Cups the year before, or the 2 years prior, right? They won in 09, lost in 08. And then he went to the Olympics in February of 2010. So check it out, Cons, to see if Crosby missed a game that year. And if he sat out, their first game right after. Maybe he did, and I don't remember. But, because here's the other thing. If Canada wins tonight, he's fired up. He's pumped. Right? Crosby, he played 81 games that season. So we'll have to see when he rested the game. But I don't know. I'd be surprised. Cons is going to look it up. I'd be surprised. So if Crosby can play in the Olympics, and by the way, the Olympics were in Vancouver. Where was their first game coming out of the break? He's in Boston. He's going to Philadelphia. It ain't that far. So my gut's going to say no. I think he'll play. He's the captain. He's a leader. He wants to play for your team. He wants to show the guys, hey, we got a goal. We're ready. We want to win. That's what I think they want. So away we go. Hey, boys, I have to say I'm more excited than nervous for tonight. But, Gregor, I would agree with you. Well, this has nothing to do with hockey. It does feel like there's a little bit of disrespect for our country. And while the game itself won't cure that and won't stop it, for a night it'll feel like, hey, don't disrespect us. And I think that's totally valid, right? Regardless of the outcome of the game tonight, the stuff that's being talked about is still going to be talked about. It's not all of a sudden going to end because of the game, although wouldn't that be great? Be like, hey, let's just have a bet. Oh, that'd be awesome, right? You want to wager? Hey, there we go. Would have been funny. Obviously, it wouldn't be that easy to do, but you know what I mean? I have no problem.
So he played March 2nd, Gregor. The Olympics ended February 28th.
Yeah, so 2 days later.
Yeah.
So he didn't miss a game.
No. Played 17 minutes, had an assist.
Yeah.
As they beat Buffalo 3-2.
Yeah, exactly. So could I see McDavid not play 22, 23 minutes? Sure. But I don't see him sitting out, man. Just don't do it. Hey, guys, McDavid has his own chef. I'm just thinking of how Gretzky dominated by taking in secondhand smoke and Pro Star cereal. It was a different time. And that's why I find people when they try to disparage the goalies were terrible, this and that. Oh, look at this, look at that. And I'm like, hey, that's what they knew at that time. Do you think if the players were given the same opportunities to train and have nutrition and have all the supplements and oh, by the way, they were flying coach, so they're way more fatigued, right? They weren't on a charter flight. Like, you can't just say, hey, we're going to take the guys who's got all the advantages and plunk them into the 80s with the same advantages. It's not how it works. So I just look and say, hey, how did he dominate his peers in that generation? Nobody else scored close to him. Why? If it was so easy, how come no one else did it? So I've never understood that argument. Never understood that argument. Hey, Gregor, you're right. Elite do not sit out. They're not built that way. Well, in the NBA, some of them are. But yes, definitely not in the National Hockey League, and I don't expect McDavid to. Hey, guys, what are the chances that any of the guys playing in tonight's game are traded before the deadline? Ooh, now that's a spicy question. So if you look at it, so Brad Marchand's a UFA. So let's go through Canada's roster fairly quickly. And when I look at Canada's roster, I say, okay, who's under contract? Who's a UFA? So Brad Marchand is the first one that comes to mind. Mitch Marner, also a pending UFA. Yeah, I don't see him getting traded. Bennett is a pending UFA. Don't see him being traded. Reinhart, no. Point, obviously not. Jarvis, McKinnon, Hagel, Stone, Cirelli. Who am I missing? Konechny, no. Taves, Sanheim, Morrissey, Harley, Parayko, Doughty. Marchand, I guess St. Louis maybe in Parayko, right? Would some teams be calling after this? Possibly. I don't know what the direction they're going in, but I'd be surprised if they dealt him. The goaltenders, obviously, Hill's not going anywhere. Montembeault, no. Binnington, I don't think this tournament, honestly, when you look at just goaltender play, has any team said, oh, wow, this is the answer for our team? I don't think so. So probably not. I think it's Marchand. On the U.S. side, I think there's a very good chance you could see Brock Nelson be moved. Right? He's a pending UFA. He's a really good player. And if you're the New York Islanders, what are you doing as an organization? What direction are you going? So Kachucks obviously aren't getting dealt. Eichel, no. Miller's just being traded. Boldy ain't going anywhere. Trocheck, no. Larkin, obviously not. Matthews, Gensel, Kyle Connor, no. Jack Hughes, no. Defenseman, no. I don't think any of their D-men are moving. So, yeah, I would say it's probably Nelson and Marchand are the only two who have a chance, I think, to get moved. If I had to pick a third, I guess it would be Colton Parayko, but I think the odds are pretty low. Enjoy the game, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Have a lot of fun. We'll be talking about a win. Go Canada, baby. I think it's going to be the big red and black machine tonight in Boston, just breaking the hearts of the Americans who so badly want to win. It's going to be a close game, but I got to cheer Canada. I got to believe in Canada. Enjoy it. On behalf of Connor Halley and Declan Kruger, if you missed any part of the show, go to anywhere where you get your podcasts or jasongregor.com, and you can see it there or rewatch it on YouTube. Even better. Here's the comment, a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They're cheering Canada on all the way. LegacyHeating.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
We're about 25 minutes away from puck drop out in Boston at the four-nation face-off final. Canada taking on the United States. Josh Morrissey will not play in this one for Canada due to illness. Thomas Harley draws in on the back end for Canada. The Calgary Flames will place defenseman Tyson Barrie on waivers. If he clears to be assigned to the AHL, he has not practiced with the Flames the past 2 days since teams have resumed practicing. In the AJHL tonight, Whitecourts and Fort Mac, 7:30 puck drop in that one. PWHL after 20 minutes, Boston leading the Ottawa Charge 2-0 from the association. Spurs star Victor Wembanyama's season is likely over after he was diagnosed with a blood clot in his right shoulder. He has began treatment already. Spurs hoping to have him back next season fully recovered. On the court tonight, the Spurs are in action. They'll take on the Suns just after 7:30. Few games underway already. Celtics lead the Sixers 57-46. Pacers have a 54-51 lead over the Grizz, and early on, Cavs up on the Nets 14-8. Knicks and Bulls tied at 15. 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Later on, Bucks, Clippers, Hornets, Nuggets, and the Lakers in Portland to take on the Trailblazers. From Major League Baseball, Aaron Boone and the New York Yankees agreeing to a new 2-year contract extension through the 2027 season. Boone is entering his 8th season as the manager. The team had exercised his 2025 option back in November. And a 9-time Pro Bowl guard Zach Martin has informed the Dallas Cowboys he plans to retire. Martin was the 16th overall pick back in 2014. He was also a 9-time All-Pro. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio all night. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius and Brandon Douglas. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Introducing the new McSpicy from